2 straight at home. Aaron Rodgers in his career has never lost 3 straight home games. Now that the World Series is over, Yankees outfielder Juan Soto is about to hit the free agent market. He just turned 26, and he put up big numbers this season. Where will he end up? ESPN's Buster Olney.
I don't really know anything about how Soto really feels in his heart about his Yankee experience. My instinct is the Mets are going to get him. I think the Mets are going to give the biggest offer, and most of the time, Scott Boras clients will take the biggest offer.
Buster Olney on Carlin versus Joe. It's possible Joel Embiid could make his season debut for the 76ers on Saturday night against the Grizzlies. He's missed the first 4 games of the season for left knee management.
Hey, it's your resident Super Bowl champ, Chris Candy, coming on Friday. Dak and the Cowboys are sputtering. I'll tell you why the next 4 games will define Dak's legacy. It's unsportsmanlike, 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio.
Let's ride! Woo!
And off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, presented by Decision Critical, concierge nursing service in Baton Rouge. I'm Matt.
This is Shaq O'Neal, and I hate Matt.
Paul O'Neal.
They're chanting Paul O'Neal's name.
Snoop, Palandra, Villarreal. And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. Fantasy Blitz later this hour. We're going to head to Ann Arbor. EJ Holland covers Michigan. He'll be here at 4:15. We'll talk to Chris Marler, some SEC chat. Mike Triplet in hour 3. Ton to do. Glad you're here. Let us begin as we do every single day.
It's time to pop the top on another edition of AFR with Bud Light. Drink easy.
As the recruiting world turns, like sand through the hourglass of time, these are the days of our lives. Yes, the recruiting soap opera continues. We have talked a good bit, and will continue to talk a good bit, about Bryce Underwood until the early signing period begins, and Bryce Underwood signs with LSU on December the 4th, as we all anticipate that he will. Let me begin. There was an update in the whole Bryce Underwood, Michigan saga as that's developing. I'll just very quickly give you the update, and then I'll circle back to why all of this is relevant and what you need to know and all that good stuff. So Carter Smith, who is, if you don't know Bryce Underwood, LSU commit, number 1 quarterback in the country from Michigan. Michigan has ramped up the recruitment lately. Carter Smith, who has been committed to Michigan, 4-star quarterback from the state of Florida, decommitted on Wednesday night from the University of Michigan. Thank the coaching staff, Coach Campbell, the assistant there, who had been recruiting him, and announced he's decommitting from Michigan. Naturally, everyone who is thinking that Bryce Underwood is going to flip from LSU to Michigan, the in-state school, sees this as a sign that, well, Underwood's flipping, and so Carter Smith is leaving the class. All right. I want to give you some perspective and an opinion on the matter, and we'll move through this. So let me first begin, and I'm going to go and assume that most of you know who Bryce Underwood is by now, just by nature of the fact that this is a sports show, and if you're here, you care deeply enough to know something like that. But for the 1% of you who don't, let me just very quickly remind you, Bryce Underwood is not only the number 1 quarterback, but the number 1 overall player in the country for the class of 2025. That means he's a high school senior right now. He is going to sign in December and then be on a college campus this coming January to go through spring football. Not only is Bryce Underwood the number 1 quarterback and the number 1 player in the country, he is seen by recruiting services as a generational talent, right? His rating not his ranking, where he's ranked number one, he's a 5-star. His rating is on par with the best recruits LSU's ever signed. Derek Stingley, Leonard Fournette, he's that type of player, right? Ryan Clark coached him in 7-on-7 down in Orlando earlier this year and came on and said he's as good as anybody he's ever seen at this age, better than Trevor Lawrence at this age, better than C.J. Stroud at this age, meaning as a high school senior. So there's a lot of reasons why people are all in. Fast forward, Bryce Underwood's been committed to LSU since January, so it's been almost a year that Underwood's been committed to LSU. He has been firm, hasn't been taking other visits. He's been one of the Pied Pipers of this recruiting class, recruiting for LSU in this class. And interestingly enough, Shea Dixon told us earlier this week, Shea from On 3 the Bengal Tiger, that Bryce Underwood he plays football 18 miles from the Big House in Ann Arbor. His high school games are 18 miles from the Big House. He has not visited Michigan since July of 2023. So it's been more than a year. So all of these things point to Bryce Underwood is going to LSU. It's firm. Well, you look at what's happening at Michigan right now, and they're not exactly having the best season following up a national championship. And a lot of that, very obviously, is, well, you had 15 guys drafted, and your head coach is now the head coach of the Chargers, and your defensive coordinator, who is clearly awesome, is now the defensive coordinator of the Chargers. He's got them as the number one scoring defense in the NFL in very short order. So for Sharon Moore, it's been a bit of a tumultuous year one, as you might understand. And so you could probably also understand that he's feeling a lot of pressure to make sure they nail this class. And when there's a 5-star transcendent number one quarterback in the country who's 18 miles from your campus and he's committed to LSU, a lot of people around Michigan are probably throwing their hands in the air going, what? So, of late, Michigan has dramatically ramped up their recruitment of Bryce Underwood, trying to get him to flip from LSU. We've gone through this. So that's the quick Cliff's Notes to catch you up to where we are now. There was a report from On 3, which we talked about earlier in the week, that Michigan is putting together a competitive NIL package that's in the neighborhood of $5 million over 3 to 4 years, which is on par with what others are offering. Now, I will tell you, as best that I have it, that LSU's NIL package for Bryce Underwood, while very competitive, is not that steep. It is not in that $5 million range over 3 to 4 years. But that's okay. And I'll explain why in a second. Bryce, by the way, at the time he committed to LSU, said, quote, "They offered me as a sophomore. They've been recruiting me since then, and the program history, why I picked LSU. They have great program history, great quarterback history as well." One of the things he's been very consistent on is the long-term view. It's not about getting the biggest NIL deal right now. It's about developing for the next level to get the big NIL or the big NFL money when you get to the league. And Michigan hasn't had great offenses and hasn't pumped first-round pick quarterbacks. I understand J.J. McCarthy a year ago, but look at Jaden Daniels. Look at this offense. Underwood has a great relationship with Joe Sloan. All of that to bring you to this point now where Carter Smith, who I don't know from Adam, if Carter Smith walked through that door right now and punched me in the face, I wouldn't know who he is. Might as well be John Smith or David Smith or anybody. Carter Smith decommitting from Michigan can be taken one of two ways. It can certainly be taken as he thinks Bryce Underwood's going to flip, and so he doesn't want to be part of a 2-quarterback class with the number one quarterback in the country, so he's going to decommit and go somewhere else. I will say this, and I think this is an opinion for the flip side of this argument, which is you got 5 weeks until the early signing period. And one of the reasons I love the early signing period, and I've been consistent on this all along, it forces both the school and the athlete to show their hand. If you're not all in on, if you're the school and you're not all in on that player, you have to declare effectively. Because if you're not going to take their commitment, or if you're still recruiting somebody else, you're showing them what your intention is. And I think that's the case here. So let's play this hypothetical. You're Carter Smith. You're in the state of Florida. You've been committed to Michigan now. You pick Michigan over Florida, Penn State, Miami, and Cincinnati. Okay, so he committed in November. In November when Jim Harbaugh was still there. So he's been committed almost a year as well to Michigan. You've been committed almost a year. The coach you committed to is no longer there, and now 5 weeks before the early signing period, the school you're committed to and have been committed to for more than a year is ramping up their recruitment of another quarterback. What if they get him? Now you're in a 2-quarterback class alongside the number 1 quarterback in the country? That doesn't sound too appealing. Well, if you're Carter Smith, you have a decision to make. Well, do I just stay firm with my commitment and see what happens? Well, if you do that, let's say you go all the way up to the early signing period and Bryce Underwood makes the decision to flip and it's December. Well, now what are you left with? Classes are full. Who needs a quarterback? Your options are limited. All that stuff. And at that point, when you're trying to enroll in January, now you're starting over. This at least gives him 5 weeks to say, what are my options? And maybe the option for Carter Smith is going to be Underwood stays at LSU, I recommit to Michigan, and that's where I land. Maybe that's the option. Or maybe Michigan is left in a lurch. Because what if Carter Smith finds a different school, Bryce Underwood stays with LSU, now you're Michigan, you got nothing. And you ain't good at quarterback right now either. And oh, by the way, there's another quarterback on the roster that's rumored to be hitting the portal as well. You'll find out about that soon enough. But I don't care about Michigan. The Underwood ties to LSU run deep, okay? And I'm going to be very clear. I have never had a single conversation with Bryce Underwood or any member of his family. All right, so I'm not giving you any firsthand information. What I do have, however, is very good relationships with professional relationships with members of the LSU coaching staff, with members of the LSU collective, with LSU boosters, with media that cover recruiting from the LSU perspective, guys like Shea, national media who cover recruiting as well. And everybody has their own story, right? Everybody has their own impression of what information they gather. So what I look for is, when do all of these different entities line up? Where are the consistencies in everyone's story? And I'll tell you, it doesn't matter who I talk to. National recruiting guy, local recruiting guy, collective guy, staff guy, anybody. Support staff out at LSU, whatever. Boosters, they all say the same thing. Bryce Underwood loves Joe Sloan. Loves Joe Sloan. Bryce Underwood wants to go to LSU. He wants to play in the SEC. He loves the culture at LSU. The Odell, Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, Jaden Daniels, Joe Burrow, the vibe around LSU, the hype video. He wants LSU. Wants to play in the SEC. Not so keen on the Michigan man thing, which is great for some, not great for everybody. All of that, and also that, yes, NIL is part of it, but he is making a football decision for the long tail. Where can I go that I'm going to play the best, get developed, and then ultimately be a first-round pick and go make 10, 20, 50x that NIL number in the NFL? And when everybody is saying that same thing, the only thing that I could think that would change that for Bryce Underwood is the Godfather offer. If Dave Portnoy or Michigan or somebody associated comes in and just dumps the pile of money that you just don't say no to, that could change it. Barring that, I think Bryce Underwood is still going to end up at LSU. And if Carter Smith doesn't end up back in Michigan's class, they're really going to be in a tough spot at quarterback. Because they're not good there now. Reports, ear to ground, word on the street is they're going to lose another quarterback that's currently on the roster. It's going to enter the portal. That's no surprise. A lot of teams do. And they're not going to get Bryce Underwood. Now, I don't care about Michigan. Whatever your lot in life is, if I see you in the playoff, I'll worry about you then. Otherwise, I don't really care what Michigan's doing. But I don't look at Carter Smith decommitting from Michigan as a sign that that's opening a spot for Bryce Underwood. I look at that as a young man going, the place I've been committed for a year, now 5 weeks before I'm ready to sign, is ramping up their recruitment of another guy at my position. They value him over me. Let me go see what my options are. And I think that's a heady play for that young guy to go find out what his options are so he's not left in a tough spot on signing day when all of a sudden the place he's been committed to forever and he's stopped taking visits and doesn't know what his options are. Now they got another quarterback. Now what do you do? So I think it's a smart move. by Carter Smith to decommit from Michigan. And I don't think it means Bryce Underwood is going there. I will still say, unless if someone associated with Michigan comes in and dumps a giant pile of money on Bryce Underwood, that he will still end up an LSU Tiger, and I still believe that's what's going to happen. All right, we are going to head to Ann Arbor in 1 hour and get some perspective from the Michigan side on what's going on here. EJ Holland, who covers Michigan for the Michigan on 3 site, he'll be here again in 1 hour. Okay, show open every day is brought to you by Bud Light. Drink easy in Louisiana with the great taste of Bud Light, the official beer of the LSU Tigers. You can check out the LSU cans and aluminum bottles at retailers everywhere. Official beer of the Saints as well. And we always love to tell you about Anheuser-Busch, Bud Light, Budweiser, their affiliation with Folds of Honor. By now, you know Folds of Honor funding scholarships for the children of fallen heroes, our men and women in the armed forces, also first responders. Anheuser-Busch, Budweiser, Bud Light have been affiliated with Folds of Honor for more than a decade, raising tens of millions of dollars. Such an awesome charge and an organization they've been associated with, and we're proud to stand by them here as well. Drink easy with the great taste of Bud Light. Okay, quick break. We'll come back. Derek Carr met with reporters for the first time since returning to practice. We'll get to that next. It's AFR.
AFR.
Happy Halloween, y'all. Our friends over at Clegg's Nursery are rocking and rolling. Open today on Halloween for another couple hours. If maybe you're heading home, pull on into Clegg's. If you need the pumpkins to decorate for trick-or-treat, maybe you want some pumpkin carving tonight on Halloween, maybe pumpkin painting or pumpkins to decorate. If you need your pumpkins, they got them over at Clegg's Nursery. But not just pumpkins. They got all of your fall decor. Pumpkins and hay bales and squash and gourds and scarecrows and witches and all that kind of stuff. You can get all of the fall decor there at Clegg's Nursery. Sigourney Airline, LA 16 in Denham, Mid-City on Don Moore, and the Garden Center on Greenwell Springs. Voted by you the best nursery and the best of 225 awards. Again, because they always are. It's Clegg's Nursery. So get by any of the 4 locations. Fall planting season is here. They've got all of your pumpkins and fall decor. Get on by and see them at Clegg's Nursery. They've been doing it for more than 60 years. So buy local, shop local, and tell them Matt sent you to Clegg's Nursery.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief: our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial properties. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing. Healthcare for your lifestyle. Learn more at decisioncriticalbr.com.
It sucks having to sit there and watch when it wasn't the most painful thing I've ever dealt with. It really wasn't. It wasn't really painful. It was just a lack of being able to do my job. And so that was the most frustrating part because I couldn't just play through it. You know, I just literally couldn't do it. And so it's been the most frustrating injury I've ever had, besides breaking my ankle and not being able to play in the playoffs, you know, that year. But this is the most frustrating because there's literally nothing that I could do but wait and just let it heal.
Derek Carr meeting with reporters for the first time since coming back from injury. He was at practice on Wednesday and back at practice again on Thursday as we sit here right now at 3:21 Central Time. Still waiting on the full injury report from Thursday's practice to see what Carr's official designation is. But we are all anticipating Derek Carr is going to play this weekend against Carolina Panthers. And that's great news for the New Orleans Saints, no matter what way you slice it. And one thing that I don't think anybody would ever accuse Derek Carr of is being soft or weak or any of this stuff. He has played through injuries, and I think he is kind of has that tough guy mentality. There's a lot of flaws in his game, and we've talked about him, but Derek Carr is a good dude, as I think it's pretty apparent the way he presents himself. A good man and a tough guy football player. The flaws and limitations are things that we've highlighted within his game, et cetera, that I think are limiting for what this team can be. But I don't think anybody's going to accuse Derek Carr ever of just not playing when he's able to be out there. So it's going to be good for Derek Carr to be back out there for the Saints this weekend against Carolina. But he was asked about the expectation of him being out there on a team that's 2-6, and I don't know. The word he used, the word choice here probably wasn't the best.
I am no savior. There's only been one of those, and and you know that is not me. You know, I am here to be a great leader and to be a great teammate and to do my job to the best of my ability. And do I feel confident what I can do? Absolutely. You know, I feel confident in what I can do. I feel confident in what I can bring to our team, and that's exciting, right? But you know, to save us or anything like that, that's not me.
Okay. Look, man, I, like you, sir, am a devout Christian. I love the Lord. We all know what the question was. It's about saving the season, man. We don't mean like the savior of the world. We can all appreciate what you mean, but work with me here, Derek. Specifically as far as being no savior on the football field, I don't think anyone has that expectation, dog. I mean, before this season, NFL.com had their quarterback rankings, and they had you 20th. One spot ahead of, wait for it, Anthony Richardson. The dude that was just benched who helmet tapped to come out because he was tired. They had you, the National Football League, not NFL fan super guy blog.com. I don't know if that's a real thing. You can fact check me. But like NFL.com, the actual website for the league. You don't really have to check that. I was joking. Thank you, Alondra. Yes, Derek Carr has been to 4 Pro Bowls. However, 3 of them were as a replacement when someone who was actually elected to the Pro Bowl couldn't go. The other time he was elected to the Pro Bowl, he couldn't play because he broke his ankle, which sucks. 10 NFL seasons, you've made the playoffs twice. You've played in 1 playoff game, which was a loss. You've got a career record of 74-90, and you've had 3 total winning seasons in your 10 years as a starter, and one of them was a year ago when you went 9-8 in New Orleans, and I don't think anybody would consider that season a success. The bottom line is, Derek, no, not I, nor anyone are expecting you to be the savior in a football sense. We certainly don't expect you to be the savior of the world. Can you play the beginning of that again? Like just the very beginning of that again.
I am no savior.
Yeah, no kidding. Got it. Thank you for the clarification. The 74-90 record didn't give it away. Anyway, there is the very obvious question, though, of you're coming off an oblique injury. You don't have to be a high-level athlete to understand if you're throwing a football and there's torque and rotation. If you have an oblique injury, which are your love handles, for those that don't know, I think most of you probably know that, that's going to limit your functionality. So here's Derek Carr and what his functionality is like now coming off that injury.
We got to a point real late last week where I felt confident in what we were doing. We did some things on Monday, felt real confident. Tuesday, felt confident. And then today, I was like, all right, well, we should be good. And I felt good. And it was really that first ball, you throw in team that is a real rep. You move, you got to step this way, throw it that way. And, that was the test, and it felt great.
So that's fantastic to hear. Now, what's it like if he gets hit? I have no idea if he gets blindsided, if it re-aggravates something, or if it's just something that's going to be the force of throwing the football and rotating. Hopefully we don't have to find out. Hopefully he stays healthy and goes out there and plays against Carolina and plays the rest of the season and does a great job. One last little interesting tidbit here from Carr is he said, remember, back in 2014, Drew Brees had the same injury. Now, Brees didn't tell anybody. It happened in preseason, and so he missed the end of the preseason, and by his own admission, when that season ended, he came back too early, and it was just very obvious. That a lot of people were concerned that Brees' shoulder was acting up, the old shoulder injury, and that was a 7-9 season. But really, as we learned after the season, it was the fact that he suffered an oblique injury in training camp, and it just never properly healed, and it affected him the whole season. And Carr said he did reach out to Drew Brees last week.
So that's part of the reason this was the toughest injury for me. So, I wanted to make sure that I came back and I was just me. I'm not overcompensating like last year with my shoulder or just different things. And the day I found out what it was, and we found out the time frame and what I had done, I called it. I think I texted Drew and asked him. I said, hey, I know you had this back in this year. Was and things like just make sure your mechanics. He gave me other advice, but he's like, just don't let your mechanics suffer to just try and get back on the field, because then you won't feel the same.
That certainly happened. Looking in 2014, and that was if you remember, the Saints had the Bounty Gate year in 12, 13. Sean Payton came back, and the team went to the playoffs, won a playoff game against the Philadelphia Eagles. And then 2014 was the first of the back-to-back-to-back 7-9 seasons. And in that season, Brees threw for 4,900 yards and 33 touchdowns, but he had 17 interceptions. So you saw the touchdowns dip and the interceptions go up, which was no doubt a product of that whole situation, the injury and then losing and trying to get back. So I'm going to be interested to see what Derek Carr looks like, but hopefully he's taking the time to get right. And if there is a great time for this to happen and then come back, it's this week against Carolina. Carolina is dead last in the NFL in scoring defense, 33.9 points per game. They're 25th in pass defense at 232 yards per game, and they're second to last in the NFL in total defense. That's yards per game at 387. The caveat there is the worst defense in the NFL are your New Orleans Saints. This will be a pillow fight for the ages. Sunday in Charlotte with Saints and the Panthers. But Derek Carr will be out there. All right, it's After Further Review. We're glad you're with us. We're brought to you by Michelli Weighing and Measurement, Michelli.com. With more than 30 locations across a dozen different states, if you weigh or measure something, Michelli sells, services, and rents the products that you use to weigh and measure. ISO 17025 accreditation. If you're looking for that calibration, they've got it. If you don't know what it is, you don't need it. If you do, you understand why it's important. It's Michelli Weighing and Measurement. Go to Michelli.com, hit the Services tab. Most people know Michelli as our nation's largest distributor of scales, but what we are helping people learn more and more is they do so much more over at Michelli Weighing and Measurement, all different types of calibration, and they can even calibrate on site if you have equipment that can't leave or you don't want to leave your facility. It's Michelli Weighing and Measurement. Michelli.com, Michelli.com. All right, y'all, glad you're hanging out with us here. We are going to knock out a break. We'll go around the SEC when we come back. Darin Tietgen's here in 15 minutes for our Fantasy Blitz. So start lining up your fantasy football questions. You can email us, tweet us, or text us in the 225-396-4400, 396-4400, 396-4400. Fantasy Blitz in 15 minutes. Chris Marler talking some SEC in about a half an hour. We're heading up to Ann Arbor in about 45 minutes. Mike Triplet in hour 3. Locked, loaded, ton to do. Glad you're here. It's AFR.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by Rouse's, the official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints. Rouse's.com, Rouse's.com. Fired up to tell you about this, y'all. Thanksgiving's right around the bend, and right now at Rouse's, you can get your Butterball Thanksgiving turkey for free at Rouse's. Well, Matt, how do you do that? Easy. Buy a Hormel Cure 81 spiral sliced ham for $2.99 a pound and get a Butterball Grade A frozen turkey up to 14 pounds totally free. How about that? You get the ham and the turkey taken care of for just the price of the ham. They think of everything over at Rouse's. That's right. Buy a Hormel Cure 81 spiral sliced ham and get a free Butterball Grade A frozen turkey for your Thanksgiving dinner. Limit one per customer with $25 in-store purchase. Visit Rouse's.com for more details. Rouse's Markets, of course, the official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints. Y'all get on by Rouse's. Help them make your holiday. Rouse's.com. Rouse's. This feels like home.
There it is. The extra mile. On the border of expected and extraordinary. For those willing to go further. Like vans customized for work or play. With safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs, even in the case of an after-hours emergency.
After Further Review with Matt Moscona, presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing. Healthcare for your lifestyle. Learn more at decisioncriticalbr.com.
All right, we got something going down here in about 26 minutes. Been enjoying telling you about Decision Critical Concierge Nursing, from birth to end-of-life care, in your home, with you at the hospital, whatever you may need. They're exceptional. And it is affordable, too. Don't let pricing get in your head to think, oh, we can't afford that. Have the conversation with Decision Critical. But another service they offer, they have a B12 shot clinic, and they do IVs as well, hydration IVs and recovery IVs. And they have they will do that. Obviously, it's concierge nursing. They will come to you. So one of the nurses from Decision Critical is going to be here in 25 minutes to give me an IV on the show. You ever had an IV, either of you? You like IVs? You never had an IV? Oh, by the way, Alondra's in for Musso today.
Not like a vitamin type one, but like, when you're in the hospital, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You've been in the hospital?
Well, yeah, like surgery or whatever.
Okay.
They give you an IV.
All right.
So I've done that, but I've never done I could have used one this morning.
Boy, there's some times after a long night where an IV will get you going good. If you're not, you get flu, but in all seriousness, not just like a night after drinking or whatever, but like you get cold flu symptoms, you need to bring, because especially when you're sick, a lot of times you don't get hydrated. You don't take fluids, you just lay in bed, and you need to stay hydrated to help yourself heal. I'm telling you, man, an IV will bring you back to life. So I'm pretty fired up.
Yeah.
Right there. Put it in my vein. You know that old saying, inject that into my veins.
That's going to be you.
Inject that IV into my veins. They're literally going to inject that into my veins here in about 25 minutes. Hey, real quick before we go around the SEC, we do have an announcement to make. This is serious. I'm not joking. Today is our last day on 100.3 ESPN New Orleans. So I know a lot of people have asked, because I believe there have been some announcements made. But we started on 100.3 ESPN New Orleans back in 2016. They were our first affiliate here on AFR. And subsequently, we've obviously grown with Alexandria and Lafayette and Lake Charles. And it's been awesome. And I'm so grateful for the relationship we've had with Jerry Gisclair down at KLRZ and all the people at ESPN, 100.3 ESPN New Orleans. But Jerry is getting out of the radio business. He sold the station, and the group that bought the station from him are flipping the format. So today is our last day on 100.3 ESPN New Orleans. Tomorrow it'll be a totally different format. So just wanted to put that out there. We've been aware of this for a little while, and we have been very actively pursuing other affiliates in the New Orleans area. And we hope to have an announcement there really, really soon. But in the meantime, if you're in New Orleans, and since we're no longer going to be, for a short time anyway, on terrestrial radio, you can always stream us at 1045ESPN.com. You can download the 1045 ESPN app. You can stream us on the 1045 ESPN YouTube channel. You can listen to the full show in podcast, so whatever podcast app, just go search After Further Review, and you can get the entire show there. So help us spread the word. But most importantly, I just want to send a thank you to Jerry Gisclair, who, he reached out to us back in we started those conversations back in 2014, actually. But that was just before we found out that our son Drew was going to be sick, when Erica was pregnant with him, and we relocated to Houston, and the timing wasn't great because it was a very indefinite situation. But when we came back from the hospital within the next year, Jerry sort of re-engaged those conversations with us, picked up AFR, was our first affiliate, and I'll forever be grateful for that. Short time later, they would go add off the bench their lineup as well with, at the time, it was Jordy and T-Bob, and they've continued with Hester and T-Bob since. But very grateful for having had the opportunity there for these last 8 years of AFR on 100 and be part of the 100.3 ESPN lineup. But today's the last day for 100.3 ESPN New Orleans, and of course we appreciate everybody who listens in the greater New Orleans area and in the 504. We're going to have an option for you soon on radio, very, very soon. But in the meantime, stream us if you can. We'll look forward to talking to you again as we move along. Okay, let's go around the SEC.
Around the SEC, bringing you the biggest news from the nation's best conference. The Florida Gators.
Florida's going to be without one of their top offensive weapons this weekend against Georgia. A sophomore receiver, Eugene Wilson, is out for the game officially on the availability report, as disclosed by Billy Napier. Suffered the injury in the win over Samford. Tried to return against Texas A&M. Unable to take the field and still hasn't returned. So against Kentucky, Wilson had one reception for 40 yards, but then without Wilson out again, they'll rely on veterans Chimere Dike and Elijah Badger there to catch passes from freshman DJ Lagway.
The Auburn Tigers.
2 new players made appearance on Auburn's availability report on Wednesday night. That puts the status of a couple of key players in question for this weekend's game. Defensive back Keontae Scott and place kicker Alex McPherson listed as questionable. Free said Scott tweaked his ankle on Wednesday leading up to last Saturday's game, so he played only special teams. Meanwhile, McPherson made his first appearance of the season against Kentucky after missing the first 7 games, recovering from a gastrointestinal illness. Scott's potential absence would diminish Auburn's depth chart at corner following Antonio Kite's dismissal from the team on Wednesday.
The South Carolina Gamecocks.
Carolina lost one of its 2025 commits Thursday afternoon. 3-star tight end Preston Douglas announced he has flipped and committed to NC State. 6'3", 230-pounder, had been committed to the Gamecocks since June. He's ranked number 1217 in the country, the 62nd best tight end. He's out of the state of Florida, but now is headed to NC State.
The Alabama Crimson Tide.
And a quick basketball note for the Tide. Nate Oates' team's dealing with some injuries ahead of the start of their season. Grant Nelson, Latrell Wrightsell, and Aiden Sherrill all have been practicing in some capacity with different levels of optimism from Oates. And Wrightsell should play when the season starts. The other two will be game day decisions. Also, but there was one more. Oh, Chris Youngblood has missed the 2 exhibition games. He's expected to be out for a while. Could be back for the start of conference play. Okay, there you have it. That is Around the SEC. We're brought to you by Supper Club, supperclubbtr.com, supperclubbtr.com for your reservation. Y'all, it is Thursday, and I've been telling y'all for weeks now. Thursday is the night to get by Supper Club. Trick-or-treat night. Maybe you're not trick-or-treating or you don't want the bell ringing at your home all. No worries. Here's what you do. You put the bucket of candy out front. You turn on the light. You lock up the outside. You'll turn off all the lights inside. You head to Supper Club. Because Thursday at Supper Club is prime rib night at Supper Club. One night only. It's the only night that this is the special at Supper Club. Chef Layton serves up 21-day, dry-aged, bone-in tomahawk ribeye. They slice it table side. You got to check this out. If you've been to Supper Club before, maybe you've tried everything on the menu and you're looking for something new, Thursday, prime rib at Supper Club, unlike anything you'll taste anywhere else in the city, the state, or maybe even the country for that matter. It's at Supper Club. Get your reservation at supperclubbtr.com, supperclubbtr.com. They also got their Thursday wine feature over at Supper Club, so get on by and see our friends tonight at Supper Club. Get your reservations, open seating at the bar, supperclubbtr.com. All right, y'all, it's after further review. We'll knock out our final break here of hour number 1. Darin Tietgen's here when we come back for our Fantasy Blitz. Before you set your fantasy football roster, check with our guys at whotostart.net, whotostart.net. Get your questions in, email us, tweet us, or text us in the 225-396-4400, 396-4400. Fantasy Blitz next.
AFR.
Buying or selling commercial or residential, think real estate, think Darin James. Of course, I always encourage you to start at the website because it's the most user-friendly website in real estate. You want to search properties? You want to narrow your search by any different criteria? Every home listed by every company all in one place, it's right there. You want to learn more about Darin and his team? You can do it at agent225.com. And ultimately, if you are selling or thinking about selling, you got to call Darin James. Here's one thing I would encourage you to do. Call Darin and say, Darin, I'm selling my home. It's a 4-bedroom, 3-bathroom, 2,800 square foot home in Mid-City. How many people do you have in your database that are looking for that? He can give you a number. Ask any other realtor to give you that number. See what they say. There's a reason Darin's the number 1 realtor in the state of Louisiana. 335-7666 or agent225.com.
Think real estate, think Darin James.
It's an everyday thing here. We work horses in the mornings and we work on the property during the day, and without these John Deere tractors, it'd almost be impossible to keep up with the place. I've dealt with some of the other colors and stuff, and I never really got the response back that I get from John Deere, We really enjoy dealing with Sunshine. They're good people. They always check on us and make sure our equipment's running, and we love them. Flip the switch and learn more about what it means to be powered by Sunshine at sunequip.com.
Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief. Our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps are held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing. Healthcare for your lifestyle. Learn more at decisioncriticalbr.com. After further review, this is the Fantasy Football Blitz.
Do you know who I am?
Powered by whotostart.net.
Who the hell are you?
Whotostart.net. The Fantasy Football Blitz. This is the Fantasy Football Blitz. Powered by whotostart.net.
All right, let's do it. Darin Tietgen, whotostart.net, joins us. Get your personalized fantasy football questions in. Darin, how are you, dude?
I'm doing good. How are you guys?
Doing awesome, man. We always start with Thursday Night Football, and regrettably, we have to start with Thursday Night Football because they keep cramming the New York football teams down our throat, even though they suck. It's Texans, Jets. Anything to watch tonight?
Yeah, and to use a bad Halloween pun, hopefully we're going to get more treats than tricks.
Hey, hit it! Yeah, you got. Oh, I thought you might have the rim shot over there, but it's on there. It's on a button bar. It's okay. Anyway, go ahead. Yeah, what we got tonight?
Another New York team. We're figuring this one is probably going to be a little on the ugly side. Lots of receivers out for the Texans. So we're going to probably see a lot of Joe Mixon. So if you got him, awesome for you. If you have Breece Hall, you should see quite a bit of work as well. So looks like it's going to be probably maybe a lower scoring game, but enough to get your usual suspects enough fantasy production to start them.
Sleepers.
Yeah, we've got a couple for you this week. Digging a little deep on the wide receiver, Troy Franklin, the rookie wide receiver from the Broncos, facing off against a Baltimore secondary that's pretty banged up. He's college teammates with Bo Nix. Bo Nix is doing well there for the Broncos. So I think eventually Troy Franklin is going to have some value. It could start this week. So if you're in a very deep league, or if you play DFS, Franklin could be a pretty cheap option for you. Roschon Johnson on the running back side. He seems to be the goal line back there for the Bears. Look for them to get back on track here after the Hail Mary game last week. Look for them to get back on track here against the Cardinals and to settle things down with the run. So Roschon Johnson could be useful for you here this week.
All right, let's get to your questions. Email us, tweet us, text us in the 225-396-4400, 396-4400. Brock, standard PPR. I need a flex. He's got Waddle or Kareem Hunt. Who to start?
Yeah, I'm going to play Hunt on Monday night. That should be a a higher scoring affair against the Bucks. Look for Hunt to finally to get into the end zone. I think he's better, the more safe play out of those two.
Here's one from Lance. Tyrone Tracy or Chase Brown, who to start?
Yeah, I would check to see if Tyrone Tracy is even playing. I know that he had some concussion issues, in which case Singletary would get the bulk of the action. So if he's healthy, maybe it's a toss-up, but right now I think it's Brown as the safer play.
Caleb needs help at receiver. He's got Calvin Ridley or Keenan Allen. Who to start?
Oh, man, if Calvin Ridley's catching 10 balls every week, obviously he's the play. I'm not sure if he's going to catch 10 here this week, but I think he's a safer play than Allen.
All right, you can get your questions in. Here's one from Rusty. Superflex needs 2. He's got Mahomes, Goff, Jaden Daniels, and Lamar Jackson. Who to start?
You're not sitting Lamar Jackson, that's for sure. So you're playing him, and it's probably a toss-up between Mahomes and Daniels. It looks like Daniels is healthy enough to be your second quarterback. I think you go with Lamar and Daniels there.
Matthew has got Tank Dell or Jacoby Myers, PPR League. Who to start?
Yeah, I think you're going to play Dale tonight. Obviously, like I said, with respect to tonight's action, Houston's missing quite a few receivers, and they're down to Dell, basically. So I think he's probably your play tonight, even though he's probably going to draw the coverage of Sauce Gardner. So that could be tough, but I think he's probably still your play.
Greg needs help at quarterback. He said C.J. Stroud or Blake Baker. I'm going to assume he means Baker Mayfield. Maybe an autocorrect in the phone there, but who to start?
Yeah, I think you're done with Mayfield. Even though he's down to, whoever at wide receiver, he still threw for a bunch of yards last week. And I like the matchup here against Kansas City. Kansas City's D is obviously great, but this is going to be a Monday night game where they're going to need to throw. So I think you go Baker there.
Preston looking for help with his last flex spot. He's got Bigsby, Etienne, Tracy, or Waddle. Who to start?
There's some injury concerns here. If Etienne plays, I think, you know what? I think it's still Bigsby regardless. I think that they're going to ease the Etienne back in, and there's still a chance that he may not even play. So if he doesn't suit up, then Bigsby's the no-brainer start here. But I think even if Etienne starts, I think Bigsby is probably your best bet.
Clark's in a PPR league. He's got Zay Flowers or Amari Cooper. Who to start?
I think you can go Flowers there. I think, obviously Deontay Johnson now a Raven, but it's going to take for him a week or two to get acclimated to that offense. So for the meantime, I think Flowers is your play. All
right, let's get 2 more. Dustin says Mark Andrews, or Tyler Conklin. Who to start?
You can go Andrews there. He's just finding the end zone. He's not catching a ton of balls, but most of the balls he is catching are going to be for scores. So I like him to maybe find the end zone yet again this week. So, I think you go Andrews there.
Bo gets the last one. Quarterback question, Aaron Rodgers or C.J. Stroud. Who to start?
Yeah, I'm not going to start Rodgers. Just a tougher matchup. It's going to be a slower-paced game this week or this Thursday, so I think you go the other route.
Darin Tietgen, who2start.net. It's the numeral 2, who2start.net. Get to the website, get personalized fantasy football advice. If we didn't get your question here, you can get it there at the website, who2start.net. Always appreciate it, Darin. Enjoy the football, man. Happy Halloween.
All right, you too. Thank you.
Be well. We're brought to you by Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, lmfj.com, lmfj.com for Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Gents, if you're thinking of popping the question, we're getting close to the holidays. Around Christmas time, a lot of guys get down on bended knee, profess their love. If you're going to do that, you want a beautiful diamond from Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, where they will never, ever, ever sell you a man-made or lab diamond. Always from the finest diamond mines in the world. These are diamonds that she's going to proudly look at lovingly forever. Something that maybe you'll pass to your daughter or grandchild one day. It'll be in your family for generations. Make it meaningful. Make it last. Make it Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Thrill her with a gift in the red box from Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. lmfj.com, lmfj.com for Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Okay, y'all, put a button here on hour number 1, presented by Decision Critical, concierge nursing service. Right after the top of the hour, Kelsey, a nurse with Decision Critical, is going to be in here giving me an IV, part of their concierge nursing service, a menu of services that they offer. They'll come to you and give you an IV. So I'm going to get one in studio next. I want to go find it on YouTube or WBTR. Next hour, we will talk in about 20 minutes to E.J. Holland, Michigan's On 3 guy, covers recruiting. We'll find out what's going on there from the Michigan perspective with Bryce Underwood. Chris Marler, our guy from LouisianaSports.net, previewing the SEC weekend. Lee Sterling next hour as well. Ton to do. Glad you're here. Stick around. It's AFR.
AFR.
We're brought to you by Parish Restoration. Had our marketing meeting this morning over at Parish. And remember, I tell you all the time, kill mold, remove odor. It's the patented non-toxic dry fog treatment. Well, everything's all under one umbrella now. So you can go to parishbuilt.com. It's a website, parishbuilt.com. Just hit the restoration tab, and you'll see all the info about it. You can kill mold, remove odors, sanitize your spaces. Listen, this is for your residential spaces, your home, and any size commercial space. As a matter of fact, Parish Restoration used their dry fog to fog one of, I think, the second largest commercial building in the state of Louisiana earlier this year. So it really doesn't matter if it's your home or a giant commercial building, they can help. If you think you have mold, if you had water intrusion in your house, chances are you do have mold. It's Louisiana. It's the mold capital of the world. It's wet and humid here. That's a breeding ground for mold. They can help. It's efficient and cost effective. It's Parish Restoration.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared toward seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial properties. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Doug Brown. It's the Texans and the Jets to kick off NFL Week 9 tonight in New Jersey. The Jets have lost 5 in a row. So how do they get out of this mess? Former Jets center Nick Mangold.
For me, it's less talking and more doing. That was kind of always my motto as a player. was that, I'm going to lead by example and, try to do everything right, doing the things I got to do, pre-practice, meetings, on the practice field, and then show up and do it on game day.
Nick Mangold on Carlin versus Joe. The Angels get outfielder Jorge Soler in a trade with the Braves today. Atlanta gets right-hander Griffin Canning. Soler was traded from the Giants to the Braves just 3 months ago. Twins outfielder Alex Kirilloff announces his retirement today at age 26. He's had a series of injuries during his career, including a chronic stress fracture in his back that limited him to 57 games this season. And our Jeff Passan reports Dodgers first base coach Clayton McCullough is a candidate for the Marlins managing job.
Hey, it's your resident Super Bowl champ, Chris Candy, coming on Friday. Dak and the Cowboys are sputtering. I'll tell you why the next 4 games will define Dak's legacy. It's unsportsmanlike, 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio.
Let's ride!
Hour 2, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing Service in Baton Rouge. I'm Matt. Hey, shut up, kid. Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
Alondra Villarreal. And a Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there, make it a good one. We are headed up to Ann Arbor in 15 minutes. E.J. Holland is going to be here. He covers Michigan for On 3. We'll get the Michigan perspective on the Bryce Underwood thing. Chris Marler, our guy from LouisianaSports.net. Bottom of this hour, Lee Sterling, giving us some best bets for the week. But right now, I've been telling you, Decision Critical. By the way, I am going to get to this in just a smidge. Like literally in about 2 or 3 minutes. There's a proposed trade that involves Bryce Young leaving the Panthers. I'll get to that in just a second. But we have a guest in studio, Kelsey. Do we want to say your last name? I don't care. Kelsey Gautreaux, a wonderful nurse with Decision Critical. I've told you about Decision Critical for a while now. Concierge nursing service from birth to end of life care. Maybe you're a person in your 40s or 50s, and now you're in the point where you're taking care of your parents, and maybe as the caregiver, you need help. They're awesome. She could probably talk about, well, she definitely could talk about it better than I can. But there's so many things they offer. But one of the services, they do have a B12 shot in their clinic and also IV hydration. But because they are concierge nursing, they'll come to you. So Kelsey came here. How are you, Kelsey?
I'm doing well. I'm good.
I think we also need to shout out your husband. So Dustin Gautreaux, gigantic AFR fan, I learned. Right?
Yes.
Scale of 1 to 10, how gigantic?
Probably at least an 8.
10.
10. He listens.
10. What I gotta do to make up them other 2 points?
You don't have to do anything because when we get in his truck, it's on your it's on y'all station.
So what you're saying, like it's not you, it's me, is the sort of thing.
Yeah, basically.
He loves it. I like that so much.
He's jealous that he couldn't come today. So.
Well, he could have come. He could have unwrapped the syringe or put the bag on the. No, you're right. I definitely do. If it comes needles and mom. All right, so we're going to do an IV.
Yep.
All right, give me a sense of, all right, if someone's listening, you'll go anywhere, Decision Critical will go anywhere to give someone an IV? Or
literally.
Okay.
Anywhere.
Where's the weirdest place that someone's asked you to come to do an IV?
Usually at just their house or their work. I've been to people's work.
Yeah.
So.
There's been times where I'm a big believer in IV therapy. There's been times where my wife has been sick and she's very stubborn. I always call her a martyr. She's like, "Oh, just power through." I'm like, "What? Like, why?"
Her and I could probably be friends because that is me.
Oh, y'all are the same. So there's been times I'm like, "Let's get you up and get you to go get you an IV. If you're not going to drink water and you're not going to take care of yourself, let's get you an IV to bring you back to life a little bit." But this is awesome because then you could just come into the home and do that. So you take care of sick people IV, and then what about the B12 shot?
So B12 gives you energy. It helps with sleep. It helps with energy is the big thing. And when you get it in a shot versus taking it every day in a pill form, It just works better. It has better absorption in your body.
So if I'm gonna get a B. So by the way, the B12, you're gonna give me a B12 shot right now, or are you gonna put it in the bag?
Shot.
Okay, that's cool. Where are we doing that? Hip,
wherever.
hip, arm.
Hip, arm.
You tell me. I mean,
It's up to you.
I don't mind showing you my hip over here, but it's like we
whatever
may have
you want to do.
Okay. Do people do them more in the arm or the hip?
Mostly in the arm.
All right, then we'll do arm.
I mean,
You gonna
it's
give
your
me
preference.
you
It's
gonna
just
give me
got to
right
be in
there?
a muscle. If you got muscles, we can get it in there.
I got a few. You can get me
There
right
you
here.
Yeah, that side or whichever side.
All right, we'll just go.
You want
with-
to do that right now, or you want to do the IV first?
This is your show. I'm just here. I'm the patient. You tell me.
I'm easy.
All right, hit me with the B12 shot first.
Okay.
All right, now here's my one question with the B12 shot. You said it gives you energy, which I've had B12 shots before. Am I gonna be able to sleep tonight?
Yeah.
Okay, so no worries about that. It's not like it's gonna make me
It's
wired.
not gonna make you like.
I don't know if you could tell, but I'm
just
already a
took
pretty energetic person, right? But I don't have any trouble sleeping. I mean, I put my head on the pillow. My wife jokes like, I'm asleep on the way to the pillow. You know what I mean? Like I don't have any trouble sleeping at all. Yeah, well, I know TV ain't even on, but you're right. You're right about that. Went to Taylor Swift on Friday, and I mean, we got back to the room. I don't even know if I showered. I just got into bed and fell asleep. Well, look at him zooming in right there. There you go, Paulie. Let's get it. Oh, you're good. He's just got me. He's zooming in on my arm, so you get it. All right, here we go. B12 shot. Ah! I'm kidding. 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 That's painless.
Hey, I
you
got
don't
you
even
a
feel
cute
it.
little pink Band-Aid.
I love it. Breast Cancer Awareness Month for one more day, anyway.
And pink is your stuff color.
No doubt. I love
it's
that.
not my color. It's
Okay. No doubt. It's Decision Critical's color, too. But my mom and my aunt are both breast cancer survivors, so shout out. Real men wear pink. I'm all good with the pink Band-Aid and anybody that wants to wear pink. And now we're gonna do the IV.
Yep.
So you just want me to set up here? Do I need to lean my arm over more or what?
Let's just see.
Alondra, you taking care? Oh, look at Alondra.
Oh, wait. Let
Okay.
me grab some more gloves.
All right. What do you need more? What?
Gloves.
Oh, gloves. All right.
Safety first.
If you're just joining, Kelsey's in studio, nurse from Decision Critical, just showing you how easy it is to get a B12 shot. Will you do the B12 shots, concierge as well? You'll go to people to do the B12 shot, or they got to go in
we
clinic?
also have a B12 clinic on
Right.
Wednesdays from 11 to 1
Wednesdays,
at our
11.
office off
That's-
Highland.
That's on Highland Road near I-10. Beautiful office,
Yep,
too, by
it's
the way.
right. If you're coming from I-10, you pass up French Market Bistro and it's on the right.
If you're going from I-10 towards LSU's campus, it'll be on the right. So for those listening out, by the way, how far we all, because we have affiliates in Lafayette and Lake Charles and New Orleans and Alexandria, how far we all go? Are we just in Greater Baton Rouge?
We're statewide.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So if I need a B12 shot, you'll go to Shreveport?
It would probably cost you.
I understand. I understand.
Look, roll your arm.
All right.
Yeah, but we have lots of services that we offer that we travel all over the place.
Do we have to? How long do you think it'll take for the IV for that bag to
Usually
finish?
about 45 minutes.
Oh, it'll take that long. Okay. Okay. So 45 minutes to an hour. I bet you that bag goes quicker than 45 minutes.
I bet it will because you got a big old monster vein.
You heard her? Big old monster vein right there. That's what if anybody ever is trying to draw my blood or give me an IV or something like this and they miss, like we got a real problem.
Well, that was my biggest fear.
Your biggest fear was missing?
On air.
Well, what about when you saw my vein the first time?
I didn't have any doubt, but I was still.
Yeah. Okay. That's whenever we'd be like, all right. But at Decision Critical, concierge nursing, they're the best. And so, and Kelsey told me when we were off air, she's already got the port in, so she's about to hook up the IV, and you'll see how easy this is. She was telling me she was an ER nurse by trade, right? So what made you want to get into concierge nursing?
Well, so I also work for Weiler Plastic Surgery, and Blasia and her team would come and take care of our patients post-operatively.
Awesome.
So we offer like a post-op care plan where you can purchase so many hours, and we come into your home after literally any surgery. It could be cosmetic, it could be dental, it could be orthoscopic,
So easy.
anything.
So you need even if like I know you're not Uber. Like if
we are actually. You can pay us to drive you to and from your doctor's appointments.
Yeah.
Literally anything medical that needs to be done, we can do inside your house. Besides, put you to sleep, or
At Decision Critical, they say healthcare for your lifestyle. Healthcare for your lifestyle. So check out more at decisioncriticalbr.com. Decisioncriticalbr.com. Oh, we're hooked up.
You are hooked up and going.
Oh, look at that. We're already going. I didn't even realize. That's how easy that is. And so now I get to tell people about Bryce Young to the Giants because I have about 90 seconds to do this, and then we got to talk to E.J. Holland. Kelsey, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
So you're good. So you're hanging for about
I'm hanging until this is done.
Until that bag is done. All right, we'll wait and see how long it takes. That's a slow drip. It may take 45 minutes, huh?
It might.
All right, decisioncriticalbr.com. Let me quickly, because I have about 2 minutes before we got to break and then get to EJ Holland. There's Dan Graziano over at ESPN.com with the trade deadline coming up on Tuesday, has proposed a trade that would send Bryce Young to the Giants for a 4th-round pick. If that happens, which I don't know if it will, but if that does happen, that means this would be Bryce Young's last game with the Carolina Panthers, if it were to play out that way. Alondra, would you please turn that mic off, please? Thank you. Here's a couple things. Number one, when I think about Carolina, I think, what would Bryce Young be if he had Christian McCaffrey and DJ Moore and now Deontay Johnson? It's a little unfair to judge him considering he's had not really a lot of talent around him. To judge him fully. But it also is the risk with moving up to take a quarterback at the top of the draft and missing. And it happens. I mean, the Jets took Zach Wilson 2nd overall in 21, Sam Darnold 3rd overall in 18, Mark Sanchez 5th overall in 2009. I mean, over the course of about a dozen years, they took 3 quarterbacks there in the top 5 picks. They missed on all. Well, I shouldn't say. Sanchez did get him to a couple of AFC Championship games, but I think we can all understand the butt fumble and how that went. Look at the Bears. Caleb Williams, Justin Fields, Mitchell Trubisky, Rex Grossman, Cade McNown. I mean, that's all the way back here over the last 20 years. They keep missing. I don't know if Carolina is done with Bryce Young already. I mean, Dave Canales has the reputation as the quarterback whisperer. And you got a veteran there in Andy Dalton who he could learn from. But if you do move on from him, better to cut your losses now, see if you can get something for him. The other question is, would the Giants want Bryce Young? You do have a coach there in Brian Daboll who might feel like he could develop him. Remember, Daniel Jones got the 4-year, $160 million contract, but they do have an out after this season in New York on Daniel Jones' deal. So if they wanted to maybe draft a quarterback, bring in Bryce Young as a backup, a couple of young quarterbacks to grow and develop, see what direction they go. But it was an interesting one that at least it's being talked about, the possibility of Bryce Young being traded from Carolina. Trade deadline is on Tuesday. All right, it's after further review. We're glad to have you hanging out with us here. Our Thursday show is brought to you by Decision Critical, decisioncriticalbr.com. Let me knock out a quick break. We're heading up to Ann Arbor. When we come back, EJ Holland, who covers recruiting for Michigan, is going to let us know the Michigan perspective on the Bryce Underwood stuff. That's next. It's AFR.
After further review.
Brought to you by the Renaissance Hotel and the Watermark Hotel, 2 amazing hotel properties, Watermark Downtown, Renaissance Southtown. Remember the Watermark, love telling you about the Watermark Hotel. As a matter of fact, had a client just yesterday text me, said, hey, I got some friends coming in. They're staying in town at the Watermark. We'd like to do some extras for them. What do you suggest? I said, hey, call my friends over at the Watermark, see what type of add-ons they may have for you available in room, different things like that to really ratchet up the experience at the Watermark Hotel. It is a luxury hotel. It is Baton Rouge's premier hotel property, voted by you the best hotel in the best of 225. Listen, I understand most of us, if you're living in the area, probably not staying at a hotel unless you have a little staycation, which is certainly possible. But the Gregory inside the Watermark, their meeting space, it's perfect for a wedding reception downtown as well. The bar in the lobby of the Watermark Hotel is absolutely amazing place to have a cocktail or a glass of wine. It's the Watermark Hotel.
The only thing scary about the deals at Bayou Ford is if you miss out on them, like $15,000 off F-150. Bayou Ford has $15,000 off Ford F-150. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a complimentary 7-year powertrain warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
When you can't rely on technology, you can rely on Mountain Cold Refreshment. Dave's back on. Coors Light. Choose chill.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Come on.
Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief. Our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
At Relief Windows, we're more than windows. We're windows, doors, hardy plank, and vinyl siding. But our #1 product is always customer satisfaction.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing. Healthcare for your lifestyle. Learn more at decisioncriticalbr.com.
IV is what I got. Don't start a riot. Yeah, it's a little sublime there. Kelsey from Decision Critical's in studio. I'm getting an IV live on the air. Check us out on YouTube or WBTR if you want to see. I think Alondra put some stuff on the Instagram story as well. ESPN 1045 on Instagram. I mean, the most massive recruiting story, I don't even think it's here locally. I think it's anywhere nationally. It's all the chatter about Bryce Underwood from Michigan, the LSU commit, who is now being pursued more heavily by the defending champ and in-state Michigan Wolverines. EJ Holland covers Michigan for On3, the Wolverine, and he's good enough to join us now for a couple minutes. Give us the Big Blue perspective. Hey, EJ, we appreciate it, man. How are you?
Doing well. Thanks for having me.
Our pleasure. Let me start with a big picture question, and then we'll go more nuanced. Bryce Underwood, the Michigan angle, what's your big picture perspective on what's going on here?
Yeah, it's an interesting situation. I mean, Bryce Underwood has been committed to LSU for basically a year. All signs pointed to him being extremely happy with that commitment. He has a great relationship with Joe Sloan and Brian Kelly. And on top of that, LSU has done a great job from the NIL perspective. Michigan, was in the mix for Bryce Underwood early on, but at the same time, it always seemed like he had a wandering eye towards the South. For those of you who don't know, Bryce is from the state of Michigan, about 30 minutes from Ann Arbor. And, I think Michigan kind of started to feel pessimistic there around November of last year. So they ended up taking a commitment from Carter Smith out of Florida. And there was no real movement between Michigan and Underwood until here recently. Michigan hasn't really been proactive with NIL, but they recently changed their approach. I think desperate times call for desperate measures. If you watch Michigan football this year, the quarterback situation is not good. And therefore, I think people around the program got restless, decided to make a big push for Underwood, and we're kind of seeing where things go from there.
Why now? You talked about it a little bit, but to go a little deeper, why Underwood now, like just now in the last month or so? And maybe a better way to ask it, EJ, has this been spurned by the Portnoyers, the boosters pushing for this?
Yeah, so like I said, I think it's desperate times call for desperate measures. You see the quarterback situation. You see that this team can't have success without better quarterback play. And, I mean, Underwood is right in your backyard. He's the #1 ranked recruit in America, regardless of position. And Sharon Moore, he's a guy that's been an assistant on this staff for a while. He was at Central Michigan before his time at Michigan, so he knows a lot of people around Underwood's camp. So there's familiarity there. Underwood, I believe, visited Michigan a dozen times during his process, and most of those visits came as a younger prospect. But still, I mean, there's a lot of familiarity with Underwood being more of a local prospect. And I think, yeah, the boosters just kind of are sick of seeing this quarterback play, and they want a legitimate answer for next year. I mean, even if Michigan isn't able to flip Bryce Underwood, they're going to have to go deep into the portal. And I think that's where Portnoy comes in. This movement with Underwood, from what I have been able to gather, doesn't have to do with Portnoy. Now, the Portnoy money is real. I think if they go the portal route, he'll be involved. But there's a different group of just boosters that want to see Underwood at Michigan. They feel like he is the solution. And Moore, again, has always had a great relationship with those around Underwood. So they're trying this last attempt here before signing day.
Boy, it just seems odd that, EJ, and this is just not being there, right? I think the word is that maybe the last time Underwood visited campus was July of 2023. You correct me if that's wrong, but why this gap, say from the time, I don't know, that just in the last year that maybe the staff wasn't continuing to push for Bryce Underwood here until of late?
Well, I mean, I think, like I said, things kind of changed with the NIL situation. That's not something that Michigan really participated in. And when Underwood committed to LSU, Jim Harbaugh was still the head coach at Michigan. And a big thing Harbaugh preached was transformational over transactional. He didn't really want Michigan to get involved in these NIL wars, which is going to happen often for the number one player in America in this age, right? So, I don't think Michigan wanted to participate in it. They took Carter Smith, who just decommitted, before Underwood made his decision. They were content going the Carter Smith route and possibly looking at a transfer portal had this, quarterback situation gone like it has gone this season. So, I think the combination of just the poor quarterback play, the switch maybe in philosophy a little bit from Harbaugh to Moore, and just, some restless boosters kind of created the storm for Michigan to go all in on Bryce Underwood.
EJ Holland is with us, Michigan recruiting insider there for the Wolverine, part of the On3 network. He's at EJ Holland on 3 if you want to give him a follow. Can you tell us more about Michigan's NIL offer?
Yeah, I mean, it's tough to put the details out there, but, they have a substantial offer on the plate, multiple millions of dollars. There was a report from On3 National that the offer was around or north of $5 million. I actually think it's a little bit more than that. I wouldn't be surprised if LSU has an offer out more than that. I think these two programs, or at least those around these two programs, are willing to swing for the fences and continuing to counter each other. I think where LSU might have the advantage aside from NIL is just the fact that, again, Bryce has always had a wandering eye for the South. He had every opportunity to stay home and commit to Michigan before this, recent NIL battle. Again, the relationship with Joe Sloan is super strong. He loves the pass-happy offense that LSU has. So, and he just likes the culture down in Baton Rouge. I'm not sure that he's completely sold on Michigan's development of quarterbacks or the offense, but obviously he would have an opportunity to come in and start as a true freshman at Michigan. He would be the best quarterback in the room right now. There's a chance Nussmeier comes back for LSU, so maybe that becomes a little bit more appealing. So there are some outside factors that could work in favor for LSU. A lot of them that could work in favor for LSU, maybe a few that could work in favor for Michigan. But at the end of the day, I think the most important factor is NIL, and it'll be interesting to see who comes up with the more significant offer by the time we reach signing day.
Just to clarify, do you think ultimately the deciding factor will be the highest bidder?
Yeah, it's tough to say that. I do think this is more of a transactional recruitment. So, like, for me, it doesn't really matter if Underwood comes back to Michigan for a visit. Who cares? He's already been to Michigan in the past,
Sure.
There's nothing else he can really learn about Michigan. It's more so how much money can he get out of Michigan, in my opinion. And that's not really a knock on the kid. He's just in that position, which is great for him. I think, like I said, the other factors might weigh in if the NIL deals are very close. If we get to a point where signing day is December 4th, if we're at Thanksgiving and the NIL deals are both very close in dollar amount, then, some of the other factors might give one school the advantage over the other.
The Carter Smith decommitment from Michigan, what did you make of that?
Yeah, that was really interesting. I was in communication with Carter and his family. I've really grown close to the Smith family throughout this process. Great people. I thought they were great fits at Michigan, but I just don't think they like the way the situation was handled. Carter gave his commitment back in November. He helped build this class. I mean, he's literally been committed for almost a year as well. So, he had a lot of pride in being part of Michigan's class and helping recruit some of the other kids in the class. He even had a big Michigan license plate driving around Southwest Florida. He was all in on Michigan. And then, again, at the time, Michigan preached, transformational over transactional. So Smith really bought into that, and then for Michigan to start taking the NIL angle with Bryce Underwood, I just don't think it's that well. And, Smith is a competitor. I don't think he was afraid to compete with Bryce Underwood, but if you're paying millions of dollars to someone, it's not really a fair fight, right? You're going to start the guy you're paying millions of dollars to, and I think that was a big concern of his.
Last thing, I don't know if you've put in a prediction or if I'm sure you've given it much thought. I'm sure you're asked about it every day. How do you think this ends up with Bryce Underwood?
Man, if I had to pick today, I would say he sticks with LSU. I don't know if the dollar gap between Michigan and LSU will be significant enough to where those other factors that I mentioned, the quarterback development, the Sloan relationship, Sloan's going to be at his game this week, the offense, I don't know if, and just the culture fit, I don't know if those factors will be pushed to the side if the NIL, difference isn't significant. So I'm not sure I'm sure Michigan will try to push as much as it can. I'm sure they'll try to raise as much money as possible, but will there be that significant of a gap to where these other factors don't really matter? I'm not sure. I would put my confidence level for Michigan at about 35% maybe is what I would be comfortable with right now.
EJ Holland, he's on Twitter, X at EJ Holland on 3. Give him a follow. On 3, the Wolverine covering Michigan. Hey, man, appreciate some time and for the insight today. Thank you so much.
Yep, thanks for having me.
It's our pleasure. It's After Further Review, brought to you by Shawbills Tire and Auto Service, ShawBillsTire.com, with locations all over Louisiana. Go to ShawBillsTire.com, ShawBillsTire.com. If you want to shop tires, if you want to schedule service, you can do it all right there at the website at ShawBillsTire.com, or find the location nearest you. Go to ShawBillsTire.com. Big congrats again to Miss Beth Barron, voted Modern Tire Dealer of the Year. It's a national award, national recognition, because for more than 50 years now, since 1968, Shawbills has been experts at getting you name brand tires at wholesale prices and treating you like family, which keeps you coming back year after year after year. It's Shawbills Tire and Auto Service. Go to ShawBillsTire.com, ShawBillsTire.com. Shawbills, we keep you rolling. Okay, let me knock out a quick break. We'll come back. Thursday shows presented by Decision Critical. If you're just joining, I'm getting an IV in studio. Concierge Nursing, they'll come to you, give you an IV, give you a B12 shot, or any in-home or office nursing care you may need. DecisionCriticalBR.com. Quick break. We'll come back. Let's talk some SEC with Chris Marler, Lee Sterling in about 15 minutes to pick the biggest games of the weekend. Stay here. It's AFR.
After Further Review.
AFR is brought to you by Action Industries, proud partner of LSU Athletics, servicing the petrochemical and refinery markets now in the greater Baton Rouge area since 1982. 42 years, y'all. 42 years. Our friends over at Action Industries have been doing all types of work there for the petrochemical and refinery markets. And, of course, we all know what those industries mean for our communities here in Louisiana, up and down the river. And they got amazing opportunities if you're looking for work. You can always apply over there at actionindinc.com, actionindinc.com. As a matter of fact, they were awarded a capital project. It's a year-long job, working 5 10s, and they're looking for about 65 people for a full 12 months. So All the jobs, all the work is local to Greater Baton Rouge. You can learn more about it or apply online or in person at actionindinc.com. Actionindinc.com. For Action Industries, proud partner of LSU Athletics.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram can get you in a new 2024 Ram 1500 truck for only $32,898. $32,898 for a new Ram 1500 truck. All new Bayou Automotive vehicles come with a complimentary 7-year powertrain warranty. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
At Atmos Energy, our Smart Choice solutions help customers save energy and emissions with rebates up to $500 off high-efficiency natural gas appliances, smart thermostats, and weatherization upgrades. Together, we're fueling our energy future.
Join us at Pro Dreams in Mandeville for our special event, A Day of Champions. Meet LSU National Championship winning head coaches Jay Johnson, Skip Bertman, and Paul Maneri. Don't miss your chance to purchase authentic sports memorabilia, autographed by the champions themselves. It's the perfect opportunity to celebrate LSU baseball and take home a piece of history. Visit pro-dreams.com to get your tickets. See you there.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial property, so retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing. Healthcare for your lifestyle. Learn more at decisioncriticalbr.com.
Rolling along, glad you're here. Is that hella good? This IV's got me. What do you think about that, Alondra? The IV's got me feeling hella good.
I like it.
Getting an IV in studio, courtesy of Decision Critical. Kelsey's in studio with us. She hooked me up, gave me a B12 shot. She said I'm getting some glutathione. Did I say it right? Yep. Glutathione in a minute as well. You know what that's going to do?
No.
It's going to give me abs. That's what I heard. You take glutathione, you get abs right away. Boom.
Sounds like it.
I'm ready for it. Here for all that action. That's not actually true. You don't get the shot and get abs. I'm just joking. Hopefully you understand that's a ridiculous sentiment. Anyway, also ridiculous is Chris Marler, our guy Vern Funquist, or Vern Dumbquist on Twitter now because he's lost like 3 accounts. But he's also our lead SEC guy over at LouisianaSports.net and good enough to join us here. What up, dude?
Man.
How are you?
You know, honestly, watching you get an IV full of energy, that the last thing you need is something to keep you going. I don't think I've ever met a more robotic dude that just doesn't. You're a machine. Like, you just don't stop.
You know what's funny? I told Kelsey, the nurse, I was like, because she gave me a B12 shot too. I was like, is this going to make, because B12 gives you energy. And I was like, and sometimes it, you know, I was like, is that going to stop me from sleeping and all? I told her, I was like, I don't know if you've noticed, but I'm a pretty energetic guy to begin with. I don't know that I need that energy boost. But she said it's not going to stop me from sleeping, which is a good thing, though. But this will make me even more energetic.
Yeah, I don't love that at all, but I'm happy for you.
That'll make me even more demanding, I suppose. Hey, this is a weird weekend because there isn't like the giant game on the marquee in the league. Florida, Georgia has kind of been that, but it feels sort of blasé. Do you feel any kind of way about Florida, Georgia this weekend that maybe, Florida coming off a bye, playing better football, might actually put up a bit of a fight?
It honestly, it kind of surprised me how many people outside of just in Gainesville do feel that way, because I don't feel that way at all. It is a weird weekend. It's the first time all season there hasn't been a single game in the SEC slate featuring two ranked teams. So it took 9 or 10 weeks to get here, but it's the first time it's happened all season. Here's the thing about Georgia, Florida with Kirby Smart. There's not a coach in the country that hates one team more than Kirby Smart hates Georgia. Like, he hates them like the fans
Hates
do.
Florida.
They've won 6 out of 7 against Florida since 2017 against them. And it's the only team that he could hate enough to where he will change the identity of this team and what they do. Because if you look at Georgia over like the last couple of years, first half especially, slow starts, they kind of play with their food, make halftime adjustments, and after halftime they just kind of choke the opponent out and win by 20 or 30. With Florida, they jump off to early leads, and in every single game they played in the 6 of those last 7 wins, they have shut Florida out in the first quarter in 5 of those 6 games. They haven't given up more than 7 total points in a first half against them in any of those 6 games, and they've won by like an average of 23 points per game. So I do not think it's going to be close.
That number's coming down too, by the way. It's down to 14.5. So somebody's a believer somewhere in Florida making this thing close. I'll be fascinated to see it. The one that I think is the big one on the marquee is South Carolina against A&M. A&M coming off the big win. South Carolina's coming off a bye, night game, Williams-Brice, all that sort of stuff. I know you're familiar. You do Locked On. For those who don't know, Chris also hosts Locked On Gamecock, so this is a program that he knows really well. Do you think A&M maybe is walking into a bit of a trap there with the night game at Williams-Brice?
If everyone in the national media would not have been saying it's a trap game all season long, or all week long, then I think I would have probably believed it a little bit more. Like, the one thing I wish that would happen before this game for South Carolina's sake is that everyone shuts up about it being an upset, because I think it has kind of woken up A&M a little bit after getting, patted on the back by everyone after the win against LSU. I will say this. The thing that makes me the most concerned for South Carolina is the offensive line is terrible. And we've already seen this scenario play out where they have a bye week, they have a ranked opponent coming in, and against Ole Miss, I mean, they laid an egg and lost 27-3. I hate to say it, I'm not a huge believer in A&M. I'm just not. And it seems kind of wrong or dumb or whatever, probably a combination of all those things. But even after the LSU win, I mean, they were gift-wrapped 3 turnovers in the second half, in LSU territory, deep in LSU territory. I don't think the schedule they've played has been that great, that difficult. They have been outgained in yardage in their last 3 games. They barely beat Bowling Green. So a road game at night at Williams-Brice, I think it's a much different animal.
But do you think – so I tend to agree with that. I don't know that A&M, regardless of who the quarterback is, moves the ball a ton against that South Carolina defense, which I think can be pretty good, especially their front. But the flip side of it is, can Lenora Sellers get anything going offensively against A&M's defense?
Can he have 3 seconds to throw the football?
Yeah.
Because that offensive line is horrible. We talk about how bad Oklahoma's has been all year. It's right behind them or in front of them, whatever you want to say. They are right down there with them. I think they're second worst in the country in sacks allowed. So they have got to figure out a way to keep that front 4 out of the backfield.
Speaking of Oklahoma, they're going to win this week. They play Maine. So congrats to Oklahoma for getting above 500.
Not so fast. You never know.
And come on, dude. Maine's 4-4. Is that an FCS school? I don't even know. I mean, I know where Maine is. The Maine Black Bears, right? They played baseball here in Baton Rouge one time, a long time ago. I think that's
You just spouted off 6 facts about Maine that I had no idea.
You didn't know?
You know better than me.
Could you point to Maine on a map?
Listen, I can point Maine out on a map, but if we're being honest with ourselves, everything in between there and New York and Massachusetts, no clue. New Hampshire, Vermont, grow up.
See, this this is easy. I'm gonna give. Yeah, I can. CONNECTICUT. But anyway, the thing about Vermont, New Hampshire, here's the way to remember it. Vermont is the one that's wider at the top, more narrow at the bottom, like a V.
Okay.
And then the other one is New Hampshire.
Please don't quiz me on this in 7 days.
That is just so easy what I just told you. How could you not, anytime you look at a map, people are now forever going to remember that. and they're going to message me because they were at a party and someone pulled out a map of the United States and said, which one's Vermont, New Hampshire? And they're going to go, oh, that's Vermont because it's shaped like a V. I learned that from Scone. They're going to send me a message later and be like, Scone, thanks. You made me look smart.
Listen, I'm not saying you're not right that people are going to remember that, but if you're going to parties where people are pulling out maps of the continental United States, that is not a party I want to be at.
I do that all the time, as a matter of fact. Will Vanderbilt win at Auburn?
Vegas knows something. Like, that line stinks. So they can. I mean, they might be a better team than Auburn. But why are they favored by a touchdown?
I don't know. I mean, it's at Auburn, and is Vanderbilt really that good? And, I mean, you've been talking about all week how Auburn finally figured out just feed Jarquez Hunter.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that. I mean, like, they had to have something to complement Peyton Thorne, so it's not all on his shoulders. The defense has also been pretty good as well. But, Vandy, I think the ceiling is much closer to the floor than we thought with them because they have played really well this season. They also haven't had any turnovers. You saw them against Texas. They had 3 turnovers in that game alone. They had 2 all season. If Auburn can win a turnover battle against them, which they haven't done a good job of all season, they should be able to win the game. Also, Auburn has not lost 3 straight home games since 2012.
Ooh, good little stat. So they've lost 2 in a row now?
But they haven't played at home since September 28th.
Okay. That's why you should read LouisianaSports.net. Probably in maybe would that be in numbers to know? Will that be coming up?
I've given you every bit of info that I'm going to put in that article in like 30 minutes from
now. Chris Marler, our SEC guy over at LouisianaSports.net. You really should read all the stuff over there. It's you can tell there's a lot of detail and work in all the SEC stuff. So get all at LouisianaSports.net and follow him on Twitter at Vern Dumquist because is this the 3rd or the 4th Twitter account?
I don't know at this point. I think it's 4, but I mean, it's a tough scene.
So he keeps losing Twitter accounts and has to keep coming up with different spellings or iterations of the Vern Funquist Twitter, and then rebuilding a Twitter following. So you can go follow him there at Vern Dumquist. All right, thank you.
Well, of course, man. Talk to you soon.
See ya. That's Chris Marler. It's After Further Review. We're brought to you by South Point Volkswagen, southpointvw.com. New and certified pre-owned in Baton Rouge and online at southpointvw.com. If you're in the market for a vehicle or might be in the market for a vehicle, put Volkswagen on your list. But Scone, I got 3 kids. I need a big car. Get the Atlas. It's what Erica drives. 3-row, 7-seater family SUV. You can fold the 3rd row down for extra storage space if you need it. Got all the bells and whistles, all the different style, feel, performance of luxury without the cost. Right now, about 0% for 60 months, or 2.9% for 60 months, or $3,000 customer bonus. Check it out at South Point Volkswagen. Airline just north of Highland or southpointvw.com. South Point Volkswagen. What's your direction? Okay, y'all, final break here of hour number 2. Thursday shows presented by Decision Critical. If you're watching, yes, I'm getting an IV live in studio. Kelsey, one of the great nurses from Decision Critical, is here in studio, gave me a B12 shot, giving me an IV. You can do this while you're doing a radio show. They'll come bring you an IV or whatever you may need. It's decisioncriticalbr.com. Quick break. Slow down, kid. They're words. Just say them. Lee Sterling of Paramount Sports next to pick the biggest games of the weekend. It's AFR.
AFR.
Y'all, we are cruising through October. As a matter of fact, when you wake up tomorrow, the first number on the date will be 11. It's crazy. 2024 is almost over. The winter months are almost here. It might be December before it gets cold. Who knows? But anyway, before the cold weather months come, before the cold weather comes, make sure you call River City's 1 Hour Air. Get that preseason heater safety check. I just urge you to do this every year around this time. Call River City's 1 Hour Air. They'll come to your house. They'll get in your attic. They'll check on your heater to make sure it's clean, it's safe, and efficient. Look, I mean, obviously you want it to run efficiently because it'll extend the life of the unit. You want it clean and efficient so that way it lowers your energy bills. But most importantly, your heater's dormant for months. Before you crank it up, you want to make sure it's safe to run. That's why we call it the heater safety check. Mention the show. They'll knock $30 off the price. It's River City's 1 Hour Air. 752-0001.
When it comes to ending cancer, we push forward, always working together for you. That's why our cancer experts at Ochsner have clinically integrated with MD Anderson Cancer Center. This means advanced cancer care, including access to life-saving clinical trials and integrating care to treat the whole you. Introducing Ochsner MD Anderson Cancer Center. Long live you.
At Relief Windows, we're more than windows. We're windows, doors, hardy plank, and vinyl siding. But our number one product is always customer satisfaction. Visit us online at reliefwindows.com. Oh, by the way, we do shutters too.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never.
For the review with Matt Moscona, presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing. Healthcare for your lifestyle. Learn more at decisioncriticalbr.com.
Place your bets, gentlemen.
It's time to head to the window.
Don't gamble it all in one place.
This is Lee Sterling's Best Bets, brought to you by Paramount Sports.
All right, heading into the football weekend, let's check in with our guy, Lee Sterling, see what's on the docket. Lee, how are you, man?
I'm good. I had lunch yesterday. I hadn't seen this kid. We went to elementary school together, reconnected on Facebook. He saw me. So it's got to have been almost 50, a little over 50 years.
Okay.
And what is the first thing he says to me?
Who do you like on Thursday Night Football?
No. So he was a Steelers fan, and he said to me, you know what? He goes, that Dolphin team, the perfect season. He goes, they were literally throwing the ball like 7 to 10 times a game. I'm like, really? Is that what you've thought about for the last 50 years? They were undefeated. Who cares how you win?
Fans are fickle, man.
I know.
And let's talk about some of the games this weekend. We were just talking to our guy, Chris Marler from LouisianaSports.net, covers the SEC, and we're talking about Auburn and Vandy. And he said this is a stinky line, man. I'm curious your thoughts on it.
So I sit there on Sunday afternoons when the afternoon games are being played, and I will estimate lines, and I have my own set of power ratings. The only time I'm usually off, and I'm off maybe 2 or 3 lines a week, that's it, by more than a point. And not the 30 and 40 point lines, but I'm talking about anything under 20. And I had this line at 2.5 to 3.
Wow. Okay.
You were thinking kind of the same thing,
yes,
right, Matt?
Absolutely.
Okay. And the first thing I do when I see I'm off a line, I immediately go to my screen and I'm looking for injuries. Nothing. I just think that people still think of Vanderbilt. They see that B on the helmet, and they just don't think that they're that good. And it does take a while to change that perception. Now, maybe a little bit of it is that the Auburn in the second half ended up coming alive and winning the game by 2 touchdowns. But they played 2 good quarters basically the entire season. Vanderbilt's 5-0 against the spread as a dog. Maybe it's a trap. I'm not going to give it to my clients, but I mean, this is the same quarterback that beat Auburn with a team that was not talented
Right.
at New Mexico State
Right.
last year. Same offensive coordinator, Tim Beck. Same head coach, Jerry Kill, who's now the quarterback, offensive coordinator, general consultant, whatever he is for Vanderbilt. I'm taking Vandy to win the game straight up, 26-23.
I love it, man.
Yeah.
I always am a little hesitant with the stinky lines, man, but I'm with you on it. A lot of people here, I think, are pulling for South Carolina to hang a loss on A&M. Can the Gamecocks do it at home?
I think that they can. Now, give Mike Elko a lot of credit. That was a great call, making the change at quarterback. I'm going to make this prediction. I think Connor Wegman's going to hit the transfer portal.
Okay.
You agree?
I mean, let me see how Marcel Reed does here over the next few weeks. But, I mean, still a big ask when a team has a full week to prepare for Marcel Reed.
Right. Something's going on. When I've seen this kid twice. I saw him when Miami went there and also when he came to Miami last year. I think the kid's talented. I think something's going on inside him that we don't know about. But Reed did a great job. 62 yards rushing, 3 touchdowns. It was like he was a step or two faster than everyone else on the field. Now, the Aggies have had trouble with dual-threat quarterbacks. Michael Van Buren even threw for 3 touchdowns and was running around. I think Lenore Sellers is going to give him problems. South Carolina's off of a bye. I mean, I thought that – did you think they were the better team when they played LSU, when LSU won that game?
LSU was such a very different team then than they are now. I mean, they
had
look. I'll put it to you this way, Lee. 2 stupid penalties.
Right.
They got 2 pick sixes and they win going away.
Right.
Yes.
So that's South Carolina. I think if they can cut down on the penalties, I think this game is theirs there. Revenge for last year's 31-10 loss. A&M last 7 road games 2-5. They don't travel well. I'm calling for the upset. 26-23 South Carolina.
I love it, man. Lee's hanging upsets left and right today, man. Lee Sterling, ParamountSports.com.
There's no great teams this year.
You're right. No, you're right about that. I mean, we saw Vanderbilt score 40 against Alabama. So, yes, well, I agree with you. Georgia, Florida, big line. Anything to a dog in a rivalry game here?
I'd love to play a dog in a rivalry here, but here's the problem. Wilson's out. Their best cornerback's going to be out also. They scored the first touchdown of the game last year, and then Georgia reeled off 36 straight points. If Georgia's defense comes to play, Gators have a very small chance to cover, let alone win the game. I think that Sunbelt Billy has got to win a big game like a Georgia or like a Texas to have a chance to hang around. And even though the Florida offense is improved without Wilson, I think that's a problem. And defensively, it's not like they're facing Brock Vandestiff or the quarterback for Mississippi State or UCF.
I haven't heard Vandestiff yet. That's good.
And they're going to be facing Carson Beck. Carson Beck's going to be a first-rounder. Where do you think Jackson Dart gets drafted? We're having this discussion today.
Man. If so much of that I think is going to depend on his workouts. But I just don't know that I see a lot of day two quarterbacks in this draft. I think you got your guys in day 1 and then the early day 3 guys. So if he can't get into round 1, I think you're probably talking about like a round 4 type guy.
That's what I was thinking, 3rd, 4th round. That's what I said. So some of the office keeps holding on to hope that he's drafted late 1st, early 2nd. I don't see it. And here's the other thing I like, Georgia. How does a coach prepare his team off of a bye? Kirby Smart, 17-2. Blowout special. Georgia, 41-17.
Great number.
Yep.
Lee Sterling, Paramount Sports. We got about 90 seconds. Remind people you got the free play, which is Saints-Panthers. God bless you for even paying attention to that game. Remind people how they can get it.
Yep. Just go to the website. You can check out free videos there, ParamountSports.com. You want to get the Saints in Carolina, call 800-400-9741. First 5 callers get it for free, 800-400-9741. I'll also hand you, I like the game tonight. The Jets laying the 2 points, taking on Houston. So you want to get 2 free plays, Jets, Houston, and New Orleans and Carolina, 800-400-9741. And we won in September, won in October. We've won 7 of 9 weeks. Had our worst week of the year last week, went 5-7. A lot of handicappers won't tell you that. You want to join me for 5 weeks? We call it not November, Dovember, not $597, $397. That's it. Just one place, ParamountSports.com.
800-400-9741. 800-400-9741. Lee, we got a hard break literally in 20 seconds. I know there was 2 more games that we want to get to, but I'll just tell you, tell people to give Lee a shout. Get on over there. We appreciate you every week, man. We'll do it again next week, all right?
Sounds good. Take care.
Be well. That is Lee Sterling. ParamountSports.com is awesome. I love his insight. Okay, hour number 3 coming up right after SportsCenter. Don't you move. It's AFR.
AFR.
Optimize, generatorpeople.com, generatorpeople.com. Y'all get on by and see our friends over at Optimize at generatorpeople.com. If you're thinking of installing a Generac automatic home standby generator, remember, a generator is a commodity. There's a lot of businesses that sell literally the same product, a Generac automatic home standby generator. So, who should you call? Well, you call the Generator People. That's Optimize. There's a reason they're Louisiana's #1 Generac dealer. Because at Optimize, they do one thing. They sell, service, install Generac automatic home standby generators. That's it. They got turnkey installation, the price quote guarantee, meaning the price they quote you is the price you pay. There's never add-ons. You're never going to be surprised at that bottom line. The price they quote you is it. And then also $600 down payment, $600 for a down payment and financing for any budget so you stay in control of your finances. They're the best. It's Optimize. Anywhere across South Louisiana. GeneratorPeople.com.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
The best-kept secret in town is out. Discover Tallulah at the Renaissance Hotel on Bluebonnet.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief: our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
Gulf Coast Bank & Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank & Trust, the bank that cares about you.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Doug Brown. Happy Halloween and happy Week 9 in the NFL. Tonight, the 6-2 Texans meet the 2-6 Jets at the Meadowlands. The Jets have lost 5 straight, 4 of those by 1 score. And they're actually a 2.5-point favorite tonight on ESPN Bet. The Dodgers will have their championship parade and a celebration at Dodger Stadium tomorrow. And ESPN's Carl Ravitch believes there could be more titles to come.
There are core players there in Freddie, Mookie, and Shohei. They have more money coming in from Japan because of that guy that they will then be able to use to build this team up more.
Carl Ravitch on Baseball Tonight. Dodgers reliever Daniel Hudson announces his retirement. He pitched in 2 World Series games, taking the loss in Game 3. Hudson also won a title with the Nationals 5 years ago. The White Sox make it official today, hiring Will Venable as the team's new manager. He spent the last 2 years as associate manager of the Rangers. Chicago lost 121 games this year, setting a new record in the modern era.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. Looking for a career you'll love with flexibility, great pay and benefits, and one of the country's top workplaces? Come join their growing team. Go to progressive.com/careers and apply online today.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio.
That's right.
Hour 3. Off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. It's AFR, presented by Decision Critical, a concierge nursing service. I'm Matt.
Love you, Matt.
Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
Alondra Villarreal. And Mr. Toby Tom Plate. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. 5 o'clock, quitting time. Glad you are driving home with us. Man, we've had a ton on the docket today. Big shout-out thanks to Chris Marler, who was with us last hour. Lee Sterling, we did our Fantasy Blitz. EJ Holland was here as well from On 3. The Wolverine covers Michigan, was here talking about all the Bryce Underwood, Michigan rumors, gave us the Michigan perspective. That's all on demand if you want to check it out. Podcast, just search After Further Review. YouTube, search AFR LSU or AFR Saints if you want all of our contents. All there for you for free, on demand. We appreciate you. I'll mention again here for those that might have missed it in hour number 1. Today is our last day on 100.3 ESPN New Orleans. It's been a great 8-year run, but Mr. Jerry Gisclair, a.k.a. Truck, has sold the station. He's, I guess, maybe a mini retirement, but leaving radio, he sold the station, and the new owner is flipping the format. So we are so grateful for having had the opportunity to be part of the 100.3 ESPN lineup for the last 8 years. And that was our first affiliate. Forever grateful for that. We do have plans to be on a new affiliate in New Orleans very soon, and we'll give you those details. But in the meantime, if you're in New Orleans or in the 504, if you're listening down, I know a lot of people were texting me down in Houma, the Bayou region, the River region. You could listen to us online at 1045ESPN.com. You can download the 1045 ESPN app and listen for free. You can watch us for free on YouTube. So lots of ways you can still get us every single day until we're back on a terrestrial radio station. So Mike Triplet's going to join us in 11 minutes from right now. I do want to talk about Mel Kiper's latest big board, but if you haven't been with us, Kelsey, one of the concierge nurses from Decision Critical, is here in studio. She's giving me an IV. Already gave me a B12 shot as well, just one of the services they offer. They do have a B12 clinic where you can go by the Decision Critical office, the clinic there on Wednesdays, right?
Yep.
Okay, Wednesdays is the B12 clinic. Or they can come to you and give you an IV and give you a B12 shot. And yet this was about done, but you clamped it off so we could have a little bit more run in there. So what are you about to push through the IV?
Glutathione.
Okay, what is glutathione?
It is like the mother lode of antioxidants. It does not give you abs, but...
Oh, I did say that earlier.
You did.
I said she's going to put some glutathione
it will
in
help,
give you
though,
abs.
if you work out and whatnot.
So what will it help me do?
It will help with muscle recovery.
Okay.
Yep.
So what else? Antioxidants, I also think of,
detoxing your liver,
that's what I was gonna
that
say.
kind of stuff. It also helps promote like wellness, rest.
How often should someone get a glutathione injection?
So you can do this whole bundle, the fluids, the glutathione, and the B12 every week.
Once a week.
Yep.
So if I were to do that once a week, would I get abs and live to be 150?
It's questionable.
Questionable. Okay. But she didn't say no. She didn't say no.
Yeah, there are some other things you got to do up in there with combination
decisions and all. But
Yep.
listen, if you want to live a healthier lifestyle, of course, these things help. But as we always talk about with Decision Critical, healthcare for your lifestyle. What else so do you want to push? Go ahead.
I will,
go
while we're
ahead.
talking.
Yeah, go ahead and push that. All right. So for those listening, not watching, pushing the glutathione, which is going to give me abs by the time I leave here.
It's just got to go slow so we can chat.
Trademark. How slow do you have to push that?
Like over 5 minutes or so.
Really? Why?
You just do your
Oh wait, we got to get your.
Oh.
Yeah, there we go. How about that?
That's way better. Cool.
There we go. So
Yeah,
why
you just do
does
your thing. It has to be so Louisiana State Board of Nursing or the state board set this standard of some sort that you have to not, as a nurse, we can't put all these medicines in this bag unless there's a pharmacist or stuff, so we push them because that's the correct thing to do.
Got it. And so, but it takes you 5 minutes to push that syringe, the little syringe? I don't understand why you couldn't just.
Because it might have some crazy side effect for you.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. All right. So.
All drugs have their different. Not that this is a drug, it's a vitamin.
Not here to say anything I'm of which I am unaware. But anyways, I'm getting glutathione. Already had the B12 shot. Getting the fluids as well. And I would highly recommend this, y'all, especially during cold and flu season. Like if you're feeling under the weather, like this is so. All seriousness, I am a believer in IV therapy. I know we're having fun and joking a little bit, but I do believe a lot in IV for hydration therapy, for recovery. Yes, for like the night after a party drinking. It's great for recovery for that. But if you are sick and you find yourself struggling with fluids and dehydration, like an IV is such a great way to just to get everything at once and bring you back to life. So
I actually did this earlier this week.
Did
'Cause
you
I've just
you
been
gave
having, like,
you gave
the
yourself an
phone.
IV? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it
helps so much.
Get
Because
yourself
you can
an
drink
IV.
as much fluids as you think you can drink, and you like, yes, I'm getting it. Powerade, Gatorade, all the things, but getting the IV and it going intracellularly instead of just orally makes the world of difference, and it's quicker.
Get an IV, y'all. Trust me.
Get the IV.
What very quickly, what other services do you say, like your background, of course, it was in ER nursing. You're working as concierge nurse with Decision Critical. What other services do you most commonly help people with?
Post-operatively, we have an elderly care package
Yeah.
to where we can come in and assess the home of your elderly family member to see if they're getting their medicines correctly. If you don't have someone, or if you don't have the capability to be there to get their medicines in order for them, and they're kind of getting into that forgetful stage of life.
Sure.
We can go in and assess their home to make sure that if they need a wheelchair or a walker, that their doors and stuff are all up to par for what they need.
Yeah.
Or if they need somebody just to stay with them during the night, or if they have someone who stays with them during the day and they need to go somewhere, they have an appointment, we can go stay with the elderly person or whoever.
Right.
I mean, we have parents that call us to go stay with their babies because they just got out of the hospital and they want somebody to come at night just so that the parents themselves can like have a little woosah moment.
Get
to
a little bit of
themselves.
sleep, yeah. Even if it's a night a week or something like that.
Yes. I mean, we, like you said earlier, we can be your Uber. If you need help getting to your doctor's appointment, a post-op appointment, or your family member, you know,
Sure.
because not everybody can get off of work to bring their family to the doctor
Right.
if they need to be there. Or if you just want us to go to listen so we can come back with the medical jargon that the doctors are telling you.
DecisionCriticalBR.com. I would highly recommend you just start with a conversation. See how they can cater a package and curate a package for you at Decision Critical. DecisionCriticalBR.com, DecisionCriticalBR.com. We do have Mike Triplet coming up here in 7 minutes. Kuiper has a big board out today. And for those who aren't familiar, the Mel Kiper big board, I think by now everybody is, but the Mel Kiper big board is, it's not a mock draft. There we go. Sorry.
You're good.
You said I could move it.
You're good.
It's not a mock draft, but it's a ranking of the top 25 overall prospects in the draft, and then a top 10 by position. Will Campbell is the only LSU player in Kuiper's top 25. He's dropped down to number 19 for whatever it's worth. I mean, it really doesn't necessarily matter a ton where you are in this. It's what's going to happen in a draft. But just for some perspective on where Mel Kiper, who everyone knows and I guess respects his opinion about this sort of stuff, has just another opinion to consider. So Will Campbell, the 19th overall player in the draft, according to Mel Kiper. Interestingly enough, no Emory Jones, no Harold Perkins on the big board anymore. However, when you go to the position rankings, this is where I found it interesting. Just a few things that stand out. Again, top 10 at every position. Kiper has Nussmeier as the number 7 quarterback in the draft. The number 7 quarterback in his ranking. For perspective, last year there were 6 quarterbacks in round 1. Do you know who the 7th quarterback taken was in the draft? It was Spencer Rattler by the Saints in round 5. The year before that, the 7th quarterback was taken in round 4. So typically the 7th quarterback, you're talking about a day 3 pick. I don't know if that's where Nuss is going to land. There's a lot of mock drafts that have Nussmeier much higher than that. But again, just something to consider. This should surprise no one at all, but also climbing up the rankings, Mason Taylor among the tight end rankings. Kiper now has Mason Taylor as the 3rd best tight end in this draft, behind Tyler Warren from Penn State and Colston Loveland from Michigan, who's been getting a lot of love throughout the process. But there's going to be a team that falls in love with Mason Taylor and is going to draft him exceptionally high. Campbell and Jones, both among the top 5 at offensive tackle. Campbell, the 3rd best offensive tackle. Emory Jones, the 5th best offensive tackle. That's it for the offensive players. The one, though, that I would say is the most interesting, he's got Harold Perkins as the 4th best off-ball linebacker. Now, the reason that's interesting is because we've talked a lot about Harold Perkins moving inside to play off-ball linebacker and how much angst that created around here, thinking that he's more of an outside player, an edge player, or a safety. But Kiper's got him rated as the 4th best off-ball linebacker in this entire draft, even after the ACL. So if we're thinking about what Perkins might do with his decision, if he's still rated that highly at a position that I don't even think is really his natural or best position, it might stand to reason that Perkins might end up entering the NFL draft, even in spite of the ACL and not really finding a natural position there. So just something to follow and something to consider. For what it's worth, LSU last year had 6 players drafted. In 2023, it was 6 players drafted. In 2022, it was 10. 7 in 2021. Then the 2020 draft, obviously following the 19 season, LSU had 14 players drafted, one off the record. But this year will be interesting to see where these veterans may land. Braden Swinson, by the way, the number 4 outside linebacker, another guy that's got tremendous room to grow between now and the draft with the type of season that he's having. So we'll keep you posted on all that. But Kiper's latest big board is out for those that are interested. All right, let me knock out a break. Come back from the future NFL players to the current. When we come back, our buddy Mike Triplet, NewOrleans.football, will be here. We'll talk Saints, Panthers, and everything going on with the Hoodats. Stick around. It's AFR.
AFR.
Get Gordon and get it done. Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. If you've been injured in an accident, it's not your fault. Do what injured people in our state have done for 30 years. Get Gordon and get it done. You can go to getgordon.com. That's getgordon.com for Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. We always talk about Gordon and the different types of injuries that if you've been injured in an accident, what type of injuries that they take care of. Car accidents, truck accidents, personal injury, offshore, maritime, workers' comp. They do it all at Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. And they're all over the state of Louisiana. If you're in Baton Rouge, Lafayette, Alex, Shreveport, Ascension, Livingston, Zachary, Hammond, Lake Charles, Monroe, New Orleans, they're everywhere. Just go to getgordon.com, getgordon.com, or you can always call if you'd rather talk to someone. 888-8888, 888-8888 for Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. Go to the website. You can read client reviews. You can find out more about Gordon and the community involvement and all they do. It's at getgordon.com, getgordon.com. You know what to do. Get Gordon and get it done.
The only thing scary about the deals at Bayou Ford is if you miss out on them, like $15,000 off F-150. Bayou Ford has $15,000 off Ford F-150. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a complimentary 7-year powertrain warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial property. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly...
After Further Review with Matt Moscona, presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing. Healthcare for your lifestyle. Learn more at decisioncriticalbr.com.
Mike! Yeah?
New Orleans Saints coverage with some Mad Libs mixed in.
Why don't you just go by Mike?
It's time to talk black and gold with Mike Triplet of New Orleans Football. Presented by Benny's Car Wash. Family owned and operated since 1951.
All right, cruising along through the 5 o'clock hour. I'm glad to have you with us here. Mike Triplet joining us. Mike, how are you?
Doing great, Matt. How are you?
Awesome. I just got an IV here in studio, B12 shots, some glutathione. So when I walk out of here, I'm going to look like He-Man. Don't even need a costume.
Would that help with soft tissue injuries?
I would hope. You know what? If that does, then the New Orleans Saints should just have a beeline to Decision Critical. Or maybe their concierge nurses could go right there onto to airline. Hey, that's
let's try anything. Let's try anything at this point, right?
That's a good launching point, man. Just when we think the New Orleans Saints are getting healthy, now like everybody's got hamstring injuries.
It's unbelievable.
Work me through this, Mike. What's happened this week and what's significant?
Well, Marler injured his hamstring in the game. It was an aggravation of the one from the week before, but it seems a little more significant this time because he hasn't practiced. Last time they said, we don't think that's going to be a big deal. He was back in practice the next time they were back. He has not practiced Wednesday or Thursday, so he feels like a long shot. And then lo and behold, Kool-Aid McKinstry gets his own hamstring injury during practice yesterday, or aggravated one during practice yesterday, left early, wasn't there today. Paulson Adebo's already out for the season. So you're looking at Alontae Taylor and 2 other guys who haven't played cornerback yet this year for the Saints.
One of them would be Ugo Amadi, correct?
Well, he would play in the nickel probably. I think Alontae Taylor would stay outside, and Amadi did play last week. So you caught me over-exaggerating.
No, I wasn't trying to catch you. I mean, I was just thinking, because we have seen him play, but that's, golly,
he did. He arrived last week. So, and look, I actually... you could do worse things than play Ugo Amadi in the slot. He did that a lot last year. He was pretty good at it. He's a veteran corner. That doesn't scare me as much as some of the guys who've been playing on the offensive line this year. But what you don't want to do is move Alontae Taylor away from his position and consider him the only sure thing of the 3.
No doubt. If there is a good thing, I guess it's that Derek Carr is returning, so you get your starting quarterback back this week. What's a realistic expectation for Carr returning from injury? Have you given that any thought?
Yeah, look, I kind of had a lot of questions for him yesterday because what we know about Derek Carr and his history, he will, tape it up, shoot it up, grit it out and play through anything. But an oblique injury is not something you want somebody playing at 75, 80% with, because they just can't throw it down the field. And Drew Brees talked later about how much he screwed his mechanics up. And so I was worried that as soon as Derek Carr got the green light to throw 15, 20 yards, they'd bring him back and he'd just start throwing slant passes. But he insisted that the trainers had all those same concerns, that they also kind of mandated, no, you are not coming back early, and that they waited till he could really cork it, throw it 60 yards down the field. Otherwise, what's the point, was what he said, if you can't make every throw. And he insisted that's where he's at, and he doesn't think he'll be playing at 80%. He thinks he'll be playing close to 100%. So that makes me feel pretty confident. I mean, I think he was playing really good football, the Kansas City game aside, this year. I think the upgrade from, Spencer Rattler playing quarterback to Derek Carr playing quarterback, especially with a healthier offensive line, is tremendous. I mean, they should be able to beat Carolina, even with those other injuries that they have. And then we'll see after that when they start playing real NFL teams.
Yeah. So I guess just one quick thought on Carolina, then we'll kind of move to everything else, which is, I guess, a little more significant. Carolina's terrible. They're the worst scoring defense in the NFL. They're allowing 34 a game. But the Saints offensively have been anemic for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
So how much do you feel that gap, Mike, from what they were the first 2 weeks to what they are now? Like, where does Derek Carr in that sliding scale help the Saints land?
Well, I think it's Derek Carr, and it's Cesar Ruiz and Chris Olave and Taysom Hill all came back last week, and Lucas Patrick. So really, you're down Eric McCoy and Rashid Shaheed now on that offense, and you're down Kendry Miller again, who showed flashes. He would have helped, but it's a pretty close to intact offense. There were a couple weeks in that stretch when Carr was playing against Kansas City and all those offensive linemen were out in front of him, and then the games Rattler started and he was missing all those guys. Now, last week when they got their offensive linemen back and they were a little healthier, they were running the ball really well with Kamara, Taysom, and Kendry Miller. I think they averaged 5.6 yards a carry. If they can have their run game, if that, back to normal, and Derek Carr gives them a chance to have a passing game, I'd say they can be middle of the road. Not weeks 1 and 2, but certainly not what we saw from weeks 5 through 7.
You think the offense can manage more than 2 field goals?
I'm taking the over on 2 field goals.
Okay.
Wait, do you guys clip these and they become viral? I'm going over 2 field goals.
Okay. We're gonna hold you to
I'm saying it. I'm going out on that limb and I'm saying it. I'm going to go further. I'm going over 2 field goals and a safety. I'm going over 8 points.
Okay, fair enough. He's on Twitter at Mike Triplet, NewOrleans.football. So defensively, Mike, this has been my gigantic concern throughout all this as you and I have talked. I can understand the injuries slowing the offense.
Yep.
We can all appreciate that. But all of your defensive guys, now I understand the corners this week, but by and large, your defense has been intact. It just looks old and bad. How do they not get old and bad?
All right. Well, I would say this. This is going to be because you asked the question, I'm going to try to make people feel better. This is not the excuse making. This is not why nobody should be fired. This is not. But I think it is possible during that horrendous stretch, and it was horrendous. The Buccaneers Broncos bang bang games in particular.
Yeah.
I mean, they went into Kansas City on Monday night and they just got clobbered, and they played 40 minutes of defense in that game. And then they came back 6 days later against Tampa Bay, and I think they played 34 minutes. Then they came back 4 days later and they played against Denver. And all the while, the offense is just going 3 and out. They're right back on the field. I do think we just saw that all cave in on them. I think we saw a lack of energy. We saw a lack of technique. We saw a lack of tackling. You can say quit, you can say effort, or you can just say, they got caught up in the avalanche. But, they got called out for it, very loudly by Richard Sherman, certainly by all of us, certainly by the fan base, and they watched the film too. And they had 10 days, they got the chance to rest up after that. They came back last week. And I thought the defense looked really good against the Chargers. I thought they came out with a ton of energy. They were tackling. They held them to 9 points in the first half. Eventually, they did give up those 2 deep passes again. They seem like they do that every week. But I think that was more of what they really are, which is maybe not a top 10 defense anymore, but certainly I don't think a bottom 10 defense either. So I think the defense we saw at LA is pretty similar to what we can expect most weeks.
Okay. So you said that you're not yelling about people being fired or changes or all that stuff.
Yeah. I didn't say I'm not. I said I'm not. I don't want to take that as me saying no one should be fired because they have all these excuses.
Got it. Okay.
Because I know that the topic on this team is that's how most people feel. I'm well aware.
Listen, I've stated my piece. I think everybody has at this point.
Yeah.
My question is, you're close to the organization, have covered it for a long time. They have not had an interim since 1996, right, with Rick Venturi when Jim Mora was fired. Unless if there's something I'm missing, but I don't think I am. They haven't had even Ditka finished his last season.
Right, Haslett finished his last season.
Yeah.
Did Ditka finish his last season? That was a couple years before I got here, but I think he did.
Yeah, Ditka finished his last season. So I guess my question is, is there even an appetite for that within this organization?
We haven't reached that point yet because I'm not saying it's impossible. I mean, show me a loss to Carolina, the team we just mocked a few minutes ago. Show me a loss to Carolina with Derek Carr at quarterback. Show me how that looks. How bad does it look? And then show me coming home and playing Atlanta and Cleveland and looking like Tampa Bay and Denver again in those 2 games. And now the streak is 9 straight games, and you're going into a bye week. The conversation could absolutely be different. I'm not saying there is no way it would happen. A 9-game losing streak where they look just as bad with Derek Carr back and a few more players back, and Eric McCoy comes back during that stretch and still stink, and players are openly, revolting. There's a lot of season left. I'm not saying it's impossible, but there is just no way that they're going to go for a mid-season firing based solely on what we've seen so far. I mean, the 3 games with Spencer Rattler at quarterback, the 4 games with Landon Young, Nick Saldiveri, and Connor McGovern starting on the offensive line, they're not going to say, well, that's just all DA's fault. Like, they have enough. They're not firing him mid-season with all of those caveats that we've seen. We need to see them play just as bad over the next 6 weeks, too, I think, for that, or 3 weeks at least, for that to come into play.
So let me flip it then, Mike, and let's say, all right, you're healthy and you do more closely resemble what you were before all the injuries. What does that look like with 10 games to play, or 9 games to play? Excuse me.
Yeah, no, I mean that is what I think they're going to wait and see too. I think they want to see how far away is this team if they run it back with a lot of these guys and hope for a better draft class and hope to hit on a couple of young free agents next year. The model that I've used a couple of times is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, which a lot of Saints fans say, why are you spending all this money just to be middle of the road? Well, I think heading into last season, the Buccaneers and the Saints, actually, I think everybody picked the Saints to finish ahead of the Buccaneers last year. I think the Buccaneers were supposed to finish 4th. They were in cap hell, but they kept some of their core players like Levante David, Mike Evans. They signed Baker Mayfield. And they went and won the division. And then this year they came out and they've been playing great this year too. Like, that's the Saints' vision. Like, you could say, I don't care. I don't want that. I don't want to just win the division and win one playoff game. I don't want to just be 10-7. But I think the Saints think if they didn't have like this horrific injury luck, that's what these last 2 years would have looked like, and still can look like this year, and still can look like next year. You can disagree with that vision, but that is the team they think they are if they didn't have the bad injury breaks.
Yeah, that just spawns this whole other argument about if that's actually what they are and how large of a sample size do you need to see before you realize it's not what you are. But in any event, the next time you and I talk, Mike, a week from today, the trade deadline will have passed. Do you expect anything either way coming or going for the Saints?
I mean, boy, up until recently, I think they were more in buy mode than sell mode. I do wonder about Marshawn Lattimore. I think he's his own conversation because they were so open to the idea of trading him before that I don't know if that's still in play, but like fire sale, like what Carolina has done the last couple of years, like, hey, if anybody's making over the minimum for us, they're yours for a 6th-round pick. I don't expect that from them. I wouldn't be shocked if they gave up a 6th-round pick for an offensive lineman. I think it would make a lot more sense if it was somebody that could be here beyond this year. I'd be pretty shocked if they invested anything real in just this year's team. That would be really, really foolish in my opinion.
At Mike Triplet is where you can get him on Twitter X, NewOrleans.football, NewOrleans.football. He's with us every single Thursday here, courtesy of Benny's Car Wash. Make sure you check out Benny'sCarWash.com. Go get your Benny's Car Wash membership. I'll tell you every week, it's like the best $16 a month to spend. You get unlimited car wash. There's other packages you can get, too, where you can get interior detailing and all that stuff, but it's it's like, why wouldn't you do that? Benny'sCarWash.com. All right, Mike, we appreciate it, man. Have a great week.
Thanks. Thanks as always.
All right, man. Be well. It is After Further Review. We're glad you're with us. We're brought to you by Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. Energy-efficient replacement windows, beautiful entry doors, hardy plank vinyl siding. They do it all. They do it better than anyone. Remember, as I always say to you, if you're thinking about windows, doors, siding, shutters, you can go get 3, 4, 5 quotes if you want. But I'll save you and everybody some time. If you're just shopping for the lowest price, then don't call Relief Windows. They will not be the lowest price. That's one thing I can guarantee you. They are not going to be the cheapest. They can't be. They sell a premium product. They offer exceptional customer service. They have an entire division dedicated just to service work. So it's not like you're taking installers to go service your job. No, like they have their install division. They have their measure techs. They have their service department. That's why they can get you efficiently with expert people that treat you great. You're comfortable with who's in your home. You're thrilled every time with the work. The lifetime transferable warranty on labor, material, and glass breakage. You want the best quality work, the best quality product, the best customer service, the best warranty. You want the best? You call Relief Windows. ReliefWindows.com, 288-8138 or ReliefWindows.com. All right, been a really good show, y'all. Man, God, we've been loaded up today here. Fantasy Blitz was earlier today. In hour 1, we talked to E.J. Holland. In hour 2, from On 3, the Wolverine, a Michigan perspective on the Bryce Underwood stuff. Chris Marler, our guy from LouisianaSports.net, talking some SEC, was here. Lee Sterling with his picks. You just heard Mike Triplet. You miss anything, you can catch it on demand at 1045ESPN.com. But wait, there's more. Jimmy Ott in about 15 minutes. We'll get Otterlocks, which are already posted at LouisianaSports.net. If you don't want to wait, you can go get Otterlocks right now at LouisianaSports.net. It's on the homepage or on the sports betting tab if you want to click it there. When we come back, what to watch for this football weekend is next. It's AFR.
AFR.
One of the things I always tell you about Glow Resources is people love to do business with Glow Resources because they get results, right? If you're looking to hire and you're having trouble finding the right people, Glow Resources will cast their net far and wide to help you find the right people to make your business more efficient. But another reason that people love to work with Glow Resources is because they're fun. Like, they're fun to work with. And their social media posts are a case in point. They've got, naturally with Halloween, all the Glow Resources folks were donning their best costumes today. And so you can go see a lot of the social media posts that they put up. A lot of fun, fantastic. They take what they do very seriously. They don't take themselves too seriously at Glow Resources. So you can check them out online at glowresources.com. It's glowresources.com. They are complete employer solutions. Help Glow Resources help you find the right people for that job. It's Glow Resources. glowresources.com.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram can get you in a new 2024 Ram 1500 truck for only $32,898. $32,898 for a new Ram 1500 truck. All new Bayou Automotive vehicles come with a complimentary 7-year powertrain warranty. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Join us at Pro Dreams in Mandeville for our special event, A Day of Champions. Meet LSU National Championship winning head coaches Jay Johnson, Skip Burtman, and Paul Maneri. Don't miss your chance to purchase authentic sports memorabilia, autographed by the champions themselves. It's the perfect opportunity to celebrate LSU baseball and take home a piece of history. Visit pro-dreams.com to get your tickets. See you there.
It's an everyday thing here. We work horses in the mornings and we work on the property during the day, and without these John Deere tractors, it'd almost be impossible to keep up with the place. I've dealt with some of the other colors and stuff, and I never really got the response back that I get from John Deere, We really enjoy dealing with Sunshine. They're good people. They always check on us and make sure our equipment's running, and we love them. Flip the switch and learn more about what it means to be powered by Sunshine at sunequip.com.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief: our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
The best.
You with Matt Moscona, presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing. Healthcare for your lifestyle. Learn more at decisioncriticalbr.com.
Oh yeah.
It's always good when Alondra's here. I love Muse. By the way, we haven't talked about this. Let me finish the thought. It's great when Alondra's here, and you know when Alondra's here because you're just going to get a whole 90s like alt rock vibe and grunge vibe, so I love it. Weezer, great choice. Muse is, I didn't even know this. He told us yesterday after the show. I knew he was leaving. He requested the time off, but Muse is out today and tomorrow. He's going on a bachelor party. Because I guess he's still of age where his friends are still getting married. Paul, are you still of age where your friends are getting married, or is that window closed?
No, that's long gone. We're in the baby phase with all my friends.
Yeah, right. It's how it goes, right? Like your friends start getting married, and then your friends start having babies. I hate to say it this way. And then your friends start getting divorced, and then they get remarried.
At least 50% of them.
I'm not casting aspersions at all, okay? I'm just like, that's sort of the phases that you go through. Alondra, are you still in like the my friends are getting married phase?
Yeah, married, engaged.
Okay.
Yeah.
Of
they're
course.
still getting
engaged.
engaged.
There's the engaged.
Yeah.
I left that one off. Anyway, so Muse is still in that phase where their friends are getting married. So he's like, yeah, we're going on a bachelor trip. They're going to the Smoky Mountains.
Ooh.
It's got to be the first time I've ever heard of a bachelor trip to the Smokies.
I'll do you one better.
Okay.
Taylor Sharp from OTB.
Yes.
He went to Cleveland for his bachelor party.
Come again?
He went to Cleveland for his bachelor party.
Well, I know he just took a trip to Branson.
Yes.
But that was just a vacation.
That was just a vacay.
He chose to go to Cleveland.
For his bachelor party. Yeah.
Why? Did you just hit your head on the mic?
No, it was my head or my earphone. But he went because he loves roller coasters. And I guess, what's that? They have an amusement park over there that's super popular.
So real talk, I ran the Cleveland Half Marathon in 2006.
Okay.
I saw
Let's go. Do you have a bumper sticker?
No. I was training for the New York City Marathon, so I ran a half.
Oh, yeah.
Just sort of in preparation for the big race. I ran the whole city of Cleveland. I'll be damned if I saw an amusement park.
Okay.
Now,
Cedar Point.
That's what
it was called.
That must be nowhere near Cleveland.
It's in Sandusky.
There you go. It's in the burbs.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway.
They also went to like the Hall of Fame and all that.
The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame?
Yeah.
So he saw everything Cleveland has to offer.
Yeah.
What a terrible decision.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm really taken aback by this.
Smoky Mountains might be a little better.
No doubt. All that to say, Muse was going to the Smokies with, didn't he, Paul, what he told us, it was like 16 of them going?
I think it was like 16, but then like a couple of them dropped out.
Yeah, like
so
6 guys
like
backed
10 or 12
out.
of them.
Yeah, so now they're still going.
That's a lot of people.
Well, you go to these like cabins up in the Smokies. They're massive places.
Yeah.
And he's like, there's 2 hot tubs and an indoor pool and a fire pit and everything. He goes, yeah, we're going to go to a moonshine distillery and shoot guns. And I'm like,
that doesn't sound safe.
My thought exactly, Alondra. He's like, well, not on the same day. I'm like, well, my guess is you're probably still going to be drinking moonshine and shooting guns on the same day. It boggles the mind, kind of like the first time I ever saw the axe throwing place, which I think those have become a little more in vogue now. You see them around, but Erica, my wife, her cousin, Katie, shout out, was getting married in Charlotte. Katie and John, great, love them. And so we went up for the wedding, and the rehearsal dinner was at a brewery in their barrel room. Gorgeous place, which sounds kind of odd, but there's a ton of microbrews in Charlotte. Huge craft beer place in Charlotte, which I didn't know till I went there. But anyway, but the place where the rehearsal dinner was attached to another place, and I walked up and it was like axe throwing. And I thought I read it incorrectly. And this has been, 8-10 years, so it's been a minute. But I thought I read it incorrectly, but I'll be damned. You walk in there, and they're throwing axes, and you can drink beer. And I'm going, this feels horribly unsafe. But I don't know how these places get permitted. I don't know how they have, like with the insurance. I'm not saying anything against it, by the way. I would never do it. I'm not trusting that some jackleg chugging beers is going to be safe throwing an axe. I'm not going in there at all. But if that's your thing, have at it. It's just not mine. I don't know how they afford the insurance on a place. Can you imagine what the insurance cost must be to have an axe throwing place?
No.
I mean, that trying to work through the finances, as I'm looking at a balance sheet, what in the world must that look like?
I can't even imagine.
Now, Muse is drinking moonshine and shooting guns in the Smokies. Okay.
That's your producer.
Shooting at mountains.
Yeah.
What are you shooting at, man?
The mountains.
I guess.
Yeah. Is Bigfoot in the mountains? Maybe. Bigfoot.
A lot of bears up there.
Yeah.
There are a lot of bears up there. Okay. We're brought to you by Evermore. We're supposed to do what to watch here. We were supposed to do it last hour, but then we had some things shift around a little bit. Drink Evermore, y'all. Go to the store, buy Evermore, or go to the website and buy Evermore. EVAMOR, Evermore.com. Evermore.com. Natural artesian water. Better form of hydration, and it tastes delicious. This is a natural product straight from the earth, right into a bottle. It's delicious. It's healthier. Buy Evermore. Get it at great local retailers or at evermore.com. EVAMOR, Evermore.com. And it's a Louisiana product. Stop buying that crappy, crinkly, plastic bottle water from Texas, Alondra. Drink a Louisiana product. Evermore. All right, really, really, really quickly. Let's do this in literally 60 seconds. Let's do what to watch.
Here's what we're watching this football weekend.
All right. Oh, I forget that. That's going to fade out, and you need to have the.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
yes,
you need
let
to
me
have
grab it real fast.
the football bed to fade out. Paulie, start us off.
All right, so I'll go Texas A&M, South Carolina. Could it be a letdown game for the Aggies? We won't talk about last week. The Aggies have won 7 straight.
Do you have a little swoosh transition sounder? The Rams. Can the Rams get back in the division race? Swoosh sounder.
That's
Alondra.
okay.
Alondra, go. I told you I want to do this in 60 seconds.
I'm going to watch Pitt SMU. SMU could be the dark horse of the ACC, and I want to see it.
Pitt's undefeated too.
Yeah, but I like SMU.
That's great. But
yeah.
Pitt's undefeated too.
Yeah, it's going to be a great game.
And Holstein's coming back.
Yeah.
Hit the swoosh. Paulie.
Lions, Packers, battle of the NFC North top 2 teams. Lions won 5 straight. Packers won 4 straight.
I hate to say it, Ohio State, Penn State, because the Big Ten's boring, and they're going to play this game at 11 in the morning, which is so stupid. But it's at Happy Valley, and Ohio State's already got a loss, and Penn State's undefeated. This is a massive game in the Big Ten and in the playoff standings. Ohio State, Penn State.
I'm going to watch Browns-Chargers this weekend. Want to see Jameis, see if he can keep it rolling. I love Jameis Winston, so that's what I'm about to eat the W.
Eat a dub.
Yeah, no
Eat a
interceptions last game, and I'm very proud of him for
Eat
it.
a dub. I'm just glad that one-of-one guy is just gone and not bothering us anymore. Let him go bother Cleveland people now. Yeah. Let him convince the Cleveland people why Jameis is the greatest quarterback ever. Although I would take Jameis over Derek Carr in a millisecond.
I would too.
I had no problem with that last year.
Yeah, me either.
Cowboys, Falcons. Dallas trending down. Falcons trending up. Running away with the South.
Oh, I thought you were going to go. Yeah.
Louisville, Clemson. Clemson lost their opener. They won since. This is their toughest game on the schedule up into this point. So let's see if Clemson can keep it going.
All right, I'm going to watch, this might be a little boring, but I'm going to watch number 13, Indiana and Michigan State. I am very intrigued by Indiana and Kurt Signetti right now, so I want to watch that.
So good.
Yeah.
All right. Otter Locks to wrap up the show next. It's AFR.
After further review.
Get a pool. You should get a pool. Everyone should have a pool. All the people in the world should have a pool. At least all the people listening to us. And Duplessis Builders can build you that pool. DuplessisBuilders.net, DuplessisBuilders.net. In all seriousness, it's a great time to call Duplessis. I know a lot of people think, I'll wait till after the first of the year to call after New Year, something like that. But remember, the process isn't just like, I'm going to call and get a pool. You have to call. You have to go through the design process. You have to go through the permitting process. Then you have to get on their schedule. And then once you're on their schedule and they start the build out, Derek is always very upfront with the length of time because they will not cut corners. Like, for example, when they shoot the gunite, it takes 2 weeks for concrete to cure. They will not start tiling and coping for 2 weeks. Other places rush it. Other places tell you they'll build you a pool in 2 weeks. What are you getting? At Duplessis, you're going to get exceptional quality. It's DuplessisBuilders.net, DuplessisBuilders.net. Start today, DuplessisBuilders.net.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared toward seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs, even in the case of an after-hours emergency. The light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial properties. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
After Further Review with Matt Moscona, presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing. Healthcare for your lifestyle. Learn more at decisioncriticalbr.com.
Down the stretch we come, final segment here on a Thursday edition of AFR. Big shout out to Nurse Kelsey from Decision Critical, was here in studio, gave me an IV, a B12 shot, glutathione as well. You can get it all, decisioncriticalbr.com, decisioncriticalbr.com. All right, time for Auto Locks.
Auto Locks.
All right, time to win some money.
Presented by Lofton Staffing Services. At Lofton, we put people to work. Call us today at 924-0200 or go to lofton.jobs.
I think it's safe to say that I won the bet.
Otter, how are you?
Good, man. How about you?
Well, LSU lost. The Saints stink. The Yankees lost. I'm doing awesome. Thanks for asking.
That's okay, because we had the Dodgers on Otter Locks yesterday.
Yeah, I bet you felt great when it was 5-0 in the fourth, didn't you?
Hey, man, look.
And then the friggin' the MVP can't catch a fly friggin' ball. The pitcher can't cover friggin' first base. The shortstop spikes one into the dirt at third base like he's playing friggin' T-ball. What are we doing?
What do you want for $38 million?
Should be on a plane. Should be on a plane back to friggin' LA right now to extend this thing to Game 6, and instead the season's over. Friggin' pissed. It took 2 hours and 52 minutes to get it out of me, but there it was.
Dodgers in 5. Wasn't close. It's okay.
It was close. The friggin' Yankees had Game 1 locked up. They pissed away Games 1 and 5. What are you talking about? It wasn't close.
Wasn't close. Dodgers covered the run line in Game 1. Come on, man.
Hell out of here.
Come on. You can the alternate run line minus 2.5. That was a no-brainer.
No doubt. Rocking chair, right, Otter? I got friggin' Garrett Cole shoving it right up your donkey. And then all of a sudden, here comes friggin' Freddie Freeman. Unbelievable.
I mean, listen, Cole, you can give him a pass. I mean, a Mookie Betts is a ball that hits to the right side. Yeah, I mean, who cares if he had to miss? It wasn't like somebody was on deck that could have hurt you, huh?
Jesus Christ.
Only Freddie Freeman.
I mean, Freeman comes up with a run in and the base is loaded. I got him out, but it's like, I mean, that's just unbelievable. No, that's when he hit the knock up the middle, the two-run knock, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. It should have been 5-0. But it wasn't. So, hey, man, that's the New Yankees. Woulda, coulda, shoulda. Little George.
Hang up on him.
Little George.
I already got your picks. I don't need this from you.
Come on, man. That's what you get for front running with a big market team like that.
Hey, bro, that's just not even fair. Like, from the time I was born until 95, they never even made the playoffs. All right? And then Donnie Baseball, we get our hearts broken in 95 by Seattle. Had a great run, 3 series in 4 years. And then Steinbrenner had let the whole thing go to hell because he just kept trying to buy free agents. Weren't good again. You finally win one in 09. Then it's 15 years, Otter. It's been 15 years since you've been in the World Series, man. The whole front run thing, it's not 1927, bro. It's Casey Stengel ain't in the dugout, man. The same thing with the Cowboys. Ain't been relevant in 30 years, but all you're front running. No, you're just an idiot if you're a Cowboy fan.
No. Look, man, I'm neither. So, But anyway, look, the Padres were a stronger team, man. They were. That's where that championship was won, man. You get the elimination games in Games 4 and 5, and Petco and Backship is Sylvester Rabin. So this, come on, the Phillies.
That was better. I'm not disagreeing with you at all. But you can't say the series was won. They had Game 1. They had Game 1. And they were 5-0 in Game 5. They pissed it away because the pitcher can't cover first base. And you're spiking a ball into the dirt at third. Routine stuff, man.
Is this Outer Locks or?
Hey, you're the one who brought it up.
Yankee. Hey, what's our pick yesterday, dude?
All right, now what's your picks today?
We're going with the Jets. The Jets. Pros versus Joes here. I hate the Jets, but the top receivers are out for the Texans. This line is moving that way, though, so a lot of respected money on the Jets tonight. We are as well.
Laying 2.5?
Yes.
All right, let's see if we can get a little winner there. Winner, chicken dinner. What you going at for trick or treat tonight, Otto? What you wearing?
I'm dressed like a middle-aged guy. Got action on the game tonight. Hands out candy.
Football Friday at Rufino's. We got to get out of here. Have a great night. Thanks, Otter.
Yeah.
All right, we'll see you.
After further review.
As we get on down the road, remind you about First South Farm Credit, firstsouthland.com, firstsouthland.com. If you're thinking of buying land, go to firstsouthland.com. It's First South Farm Credit. They're just the best. Been around since 1916. Are you kidding me? You don't stay in business for more than 100 years unless you're doing something really right. And for more than 100 years, First South Farm Credit has helped Louisianians buy land. Everybody in agriculture knows about First South Farm Credit. But what you may not know, if you want that recreational property, that hunting property, maybe you're looking at timberland as an investment property, First South Farm Credit. Maybe even outside of Louisiana. Maybe you want to buy that hunting property in Mississippi, but you want to do business with someone who lives near you. First South Farm Credit. They can help you buy land in any of the contiguous 48. And they're great to work with, man. Ben was telling me they've done $168 million in loan modifications in the last 2 months. They'll work with you to make sure you get the best price. It's firstsouthland.com.
The only thing scary about the deals at Bayou Ford is if you miss out on them. Like $15,000 off F-150. Bayou Ford has $15,000 off Ford F-150. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a complimentary 7-year powertrain warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees